Good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Long Live Junto podcast. We're happy to have anybody and everybody here right now. The four of us are gathered around for another chatting session and be able to discuss world issues, whatever we feel like as we go through.
Is it the consensus that Justin Fields wasn't the one, or they're like Bears fans are like, oh, we could get Justin Fields?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of idiots out there that thought that Justin Fields is the answer, and I'm sure if I'm wrong here, if Justin Fields is a winner, which he won't be, because no one's a winner once the Bears have drafted you. Even Justin Fields has thought like, this is the worst day of my life. Like this is just it's like an unwanted son, and from an unwanted or an undeserving son to an unwanted father. Like it's just not going to
It's just
be
not a good match.
like Justin Fields is like having seizures left and right now.
Yeah, he's wondering who he pissed off. He's wondering what he did to deserve this.
So, I know we're kind of going off on a tangent, but like if Justin Fields doesn't work out, and how long's his leash, and how long is Ryan Pace's leash after?
Ryan, if Justin Fields has one season and he's horrible, Ryan Pace is fired, Matt Nagy's fired easily, and then Justin Fields will at least have 3 years. It's going to be like a Mitch Trubisky thing, like
So
I
you-
would say.
So after 1 year of him being, if he's bad this year,
Mhm.
Ryan Pace, Nagy gone, and then bring someone in to fix Justin Fields.
Yeah, it's going to be like literally like a Mitch Trubisky thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going
So
to
what's
be.
considered bad though? Like if you guys do 500 ball, is that considered? Does Ryan Pace keep his job?
There's no 500 ball here anymore.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, we added a game now. There is no. You can't go 500 anymore unless you tie.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say Ryan Pace loses his job if we don't make the playoffs. I think he loses his job.
Fair.
Because he was voted executive of the year in 2018, and he had a great defense, and he's let them go. He's either let them walk or he's traded them or cut them, and he's made substantially horrible decisions left and right to pick up all these second degree players that aren't top tier, and then we draft like no disrespect to Justin Fields, like I bet you if he was in a better system, he might have the skill set to be good. But Matt, we don't know how to develop a QB, so we need a guy that's almost to be real with you, we need like a Trevor Lawrence that is almost the closest thing to a QB that NFL QB ready guy. But yeah, the leash for him should be like 3 years. It's gonna be like a Mitch Trubisky thing. We'll bring in another. It's gonna be another GM, another coach, and we're gonna be like, oh, Trey Lance is our guy for all these years, and then and we won't win. And welcome to the Bears, Trey Lance.
Justin Fields.
Oh, sorry.
Wishful thinking.
Trey Lance was who I wanted, and good luck on the Niners as you win a Super Bowl
Yeah.
in the next couple of years.
Yeah,
That's
make
good.
Kyle Shanahan be ever blessed that he could pick at third.
Yeah. So other than that, how was your week?
So I would say my wife and I went to Austin this last weekend. It was crazy how different it was from. I'm trying to keep my head down into this as we're talking, but yeah. So we went to Austin. It was just crazy to see how 180. The biggest change was like when we went to LAX. So we came obviously we left from LAX, then came back to LAX, and nobody like you see some people wear a mask in Austin, but for the most part it's very optional. Not a lot of people doing it, and so I felt like that was like such a trippy thing to see where you're seeing a lot of life back into the state and the city there, and it just didn't feel real. It kind of felt like, whoa, we haven't experienced this in over a year, and to see this it was awesome. Like it was really cool. So we had a great time in Austin, and got to visit. Had some bomb barbecue. Terry Black's for the guests at home. If you're ever in the Austin area, it's one of the best I've ever had. Some of the best margaritas. Even my wife will say margaritas are good. It's called Alma's, and that place was like
Sounds good.
the spicy margarita is really good. But that was really good. And then came back whenever you take time off of work, it's always a horrible, horrible first week back. Or like if you take a couple of days off, I know Guichi over here will take weeks at a time. When you come back,
Yes,
man,
sir.
it could be it's not the best. So I came into it. It's been a rough week work wise, and to top it off, the Bears just stabbed me in the stomach again, and then I'm gonna take my dog tomorrow to get groomed. So
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
that's my reflection for
Like
the
make it all better.
Austin basically feels like 2019,
Yeah, Austin.
just like like normal.
Yeah, Austin felt like you know what it just reminds me of is like Portland. The city of Portland is very like small city. It feels like you're not in a big city at all, and so and then you just got these different people where you could tell you have conservatives there, but then you also can tell you for sure have more of the liberals there, and it just is a perfect mix. It's like it's how it should be, where everybody kind of lives in harmony, lets everyone else do their thing. Nobody's canceling or trying to put out anyone, and kind of letting them run the way they want to live their lives. And I feel like that's how it should be. But yeah, Austin was. It's a of course there's homeless people there, which was they actually have a law there where or not a law the city government there passed a thing where you can camp anywhere. So that's the law. Like you can camp
That's
anywhere,
a
right?
bold.
Yeah, so we could go there and camp anywhere we want on
On
the
private
street.
property too?
Yeah, like it's
Interesting.
really crazy.
That's
It's
On
like
interesting.
private property too.
yeah, it's like so people were like on
Whoa.
McDonald's and like weird. They all kind of hover in the same area,
Yeah.
and because the sun is so blazing there, I doubt you'd want to be on like blacktop. So they stay under the freeway system.
Yeah.
So they're like there's a freeway portion where like it was like tent city down there. It definitely wasn't like Skid Row or anything.
I
But
would try and camp near a lake or at an amusement park in Texas.
yeah,
That-
Lake Travis would be
That
probably be your answer.
definitely
How about
sounds
the
like
camp at a
some.
barbecue joint?
Well, that definitely sounds like some San
Barbecue.
Francisco, like some San Francisco Californians moved to Houston and voted for that.
Oh yeah, I think I was talking to a realtor that said that they put this in and they thought it was going to solve a lot of the problems. And if you want to hear a better part of this, is they actually gave them tents, like free tents.
Oh my
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
so to cover it
Damn.
up. So like the tents are out to give Austin some credit here. They're pretty nice tents. Like it kind of adds a lot of color under the but yeah, there was a guy I'm not even kidding. We had to pass the same freeway. Their freeway entrance and exit and system is very interesting. I think it's more efficient than California's, but California system. But it's a 2-lane road.
dude.
But it's one of the things that I was gonna say about there was a guy literally as a homeless guy and he was at the same stop. We were there for 3 days and he was at the same stop every time. We got up, we left, we got to the airport at 5:30 in the morning and that dude was there in the dark. This guy was like a straight, like this guy, no coffee, just like sitting in the same
Like a
spot.
psycho.
Yeah, he was like, and I think he recognized us. Probably at the third time, he's like, "What the hell?" Because I looked at my wife and I'm like, "Damn, like, this guy got that up this early to panhandle or whatever you call it."
Yeah.
I would
yeah.
I would try and like put all my money into like a parking structure or parking lot and then just live on that and then just charge fees like
Oh, yeah.
as people come in. Like fuck it.
That's how LA, dude. If you're LA or San Francisco, when you have to rent for, like, find any public parking there, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
When I worked in downtown
expensive.
LA, I had to buy a monthly parking pass that was over $300 a month.
Yeah, see, that's like
And luckily, my
No.
company paid for it though.
that's where we
Right.
should like when all these cities are growing, we should just like buy up all these like
Seriously.
parking spots. Yeah, and
It's low
like,
maintenance.
That's a
You know,
business.
there's no
Yeah.
like really upkeep to it.
Yeah, for sure. It's,
I mean,
it's not a bad
shit,
idea.
dude. Bums take shits in the parking lot. I mean, the rain will clear it out or something.
The rain.
Yeah, someone will step in it and take it with them, I
That's our
guess.
security. Like the homeless people are our security in a way because like nobody will bother with them.
True.
Since they're- you know what I
true
mean?
that.
Like they're just like all these even like gangsters will be like, nah, we're not gonna deal with that.
I mean, what if it gets so crazy that empty parking lots become like that's the spaces you can actually rent out to pitch a tent as a homeless person, and then you charge them some type of like fee, or like they just do services for you.
It's like the new Airbnb parking
Seriously.
lots.
One crack rock a week.
Yeah.
That's your rent.
Crazy.
there
Ten
was a,
schmeckles.
there was a so there was this guy that I followed it and it's like I followed it on Reddit and it's like loose business ideas where
Mhm.
or no I'm sorry it's future business ideas and this guy said
I like the loose business ideas. I like that.
yeah,
one.
lose
Yeah,
it,
that's a
'cause
good one.
This was like really a moral where like, but part of it was like, man, this isn't a bad idea. Where he created spaces where you and your significant other, or honestly anyone I guess could have sex. Like we could be at Disneyland and then walk outside on the street and he's
Okay.
purchased land where it's like boxes
What the
where
fuck?
like it's like you can just lay down and just bang inside of it
Jesus Christ.
and you rent by the hour and it's like
Oh, it's by the hour.
yeah,
Oh
and
my
it's like,
god.
and I was like, damn, I was like, that's not.
That's actually, now that I think about it, like you think about like Well, I wonder what the age limit is on that, because like you think about kids like growing up, right, when
Oh yeah,
having
I'm
unprotected
guessing
sex or
18.
whatever, like you can't do it at home, right, because your parents are there and stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's either the
Unless
car
they're into
or you
that.
rent a box. Yeah, or yeah, I don't know. That's neither
Yeah.
here or there right now.
Yeah, if you think about like you went into like all the stuff that could go wrong with it. There's a lot of stuff that can definitely go. You see a bunch of like meth addicts in there, just like you know what I mean, or homeless people. They live in it.
Yeah,
They
and like there's no lights in the box, so like you're laying on needles or something.
oh
Like you,
jeez, it's like
could
a
you
Saw
imagine?
movie.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
Acupuncture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Contact high.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, hey, Goichi, how's your week been?
My week's been great. It's it's just trucking along. Everything's going fast for this. I feel like for this year, it's kind of just zooming by. But yeah, everything's been going great. Just been taking time to myself, relaxing, and just trying to truck away at the job, and that's pretty much it. Nothing eventful in my life. I just like to chill and stay home and hang out with the wife, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Try and be a good husband, whatever that means.
and the puppy.
And
Oh,
my
that's
a
dog.
good
You know
puppy
what? I
dog.
always forget my dog. My good wife. She included our dog in the vows, and I completely fucking forgot. So typical guy move, man.
Yeah.
So for you guys out there, if you have kids or a fucking dog that means something to you, don't forget to add that in your vows, because I did. But I get a second chance at it when we have our wedding party in Hawaii. So
The
that'll be nice.
real wedding.
Yeah, it's like a second chance.
Yeah.
Our real wedding date is on December 12th. So, but we're gonna, the wedding party is more of like a celebration and to get the family and friends out to Hawaii.
In July.
I want
right?
everyone next year in July, but I
Yeah.
want everyone to get
Yeah,
that.
there's not a
that feeling.
dress code for that there, is there?
No, it's island vibe. So
Clothes.
I mean,
Clothes.
yeah,
Awesome.
Spencer.
yeah, you have to wear some clothes. I mean,
Coconut bra and grass skirt, is that okay?
hey, if you can rock that with confidence, man, be my guest. So
Well, you
Turn
want to
it
know
on.
something? I actually own one of each, so that's actually a plausible outfit. I don't even need to go shopping
surprise
for.
me.
You know
okay,
what?
that'll be my gift.
Honestly, that doesn't surprise me at all that coach has that. It's that.
But yeah, it's going to be a good experience for any of you guys that can make it too. Like Hawaii is just it's definitely a breath of fresh air, man. It's like the one place I've been that has humidity, but I don't get cranky in it. It's like, how do you get cranky in paradise? Because it does feel like that. So yeah, and I would say to Beef's note on like taking a vacation, I always try and make sure like when I come back on vacation that I take an extra, like, I don't even think a day is enough, like 2 days, especially in the era we live in. Like you get emails constantly, right? So like you already have to anticipate coming back to that shit when you have to read a bunch of emails and respond to it. So like my thing is like I take it slow and I'll take 2 days off extra when I come back from, like, let's say a Vegas trip. I'll still have 2 days at home just to relax and get my shit together. Because even after you come back from a trip, you're trying to unload, unpack, and do laundry and stuff, and there's chores to be done back at home. So it's like you need that time. I feel like I always give myself that grace period, and I think everyone should, like, 'cause you just need
Yeah.
that to get your mind back into work mode, because it's definitely a different beast when you're going from vacation to working. So
I had a question about
Yeah.
that because
Yeah.
you say you take a
I
nice long vacation.
I do.
If I take a long vacation, sometimes I feel like I forget how to work, and I forget how to do the job. Do you ever have that like
Yeah, there's
sensation
rust.
where like you're rusty? Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
Mhm.
what I do is I process forms and stuff and
Yeah.
get people enrolled, and I'll get back from like a vacation like for like I take 2 vacation days. I'll take a Friday and a Monday off, just a long weekend,
Uh,
and I'll come back and I'll be like, wait, what's the hotkey
so
for this?
that's exactly why my tip works too, is because you slowly ramp yourself back up without having to expose yourself to work. Like if you wanted to just review your stuff before you even had to start touching it, like it gets you back in that mode of like, okay, this is like riding a bike again for me. Because when I worked in the data centers for IT, like I'm horrible at IT in general as like a technician. Like I can't even build stuff on my own, right? Like I'm not into models or anything like that. So like being an IT tech and taking down servers, racking up servers back up, building them from scratch, or like setting up switches and routers. This is really nerdy talk, guys, but
Love it.
pretty much there's a lot to remember in IT. Like you have to use templates and scripts. And for me, like that was my saving grace, was taking lots of good notes and just setting up templates for myself. So I looked like I knew what I was doing, but really I didn't. I just, whatever I learned, I took really good notes, and I made that I call it my work Bible. Anywhere I go, any new job, any new type of vertical I work in, I always create a work Bible. Even when I worked at Sears as a teenager selling TVs, I had a work Bible where it pretty much
Smart.
I knew exactly who to go to when I had a problem, who could help me with certain issues, who could escalate problems. I also took notes of exactly how to run the cash register efficiently as well. So there's all these like different codes and cheats you could use like when you're ringing a customer up. So I made sure to always take notes like that. And a customer will never, especially when it was in person at Sears, I never got judged for like re-looking at my notes at all. So highly recommended. So
Smart.
I'm,
That's a good. I think that's a good tip.
if I took like the extra 2 days, I feel like I would still try to sleep until like eight
Oh
or
yeah,
nine,
that's what I'm.
and then it's you know what I mean. I would have like a hard time. The emails thing is a good idea because like that's the probably the worst part about it. You'll look at your inbox and you're like, oh my god, I've got like 500 emails,
Yeah.
and you're just like, it could be even excessive of that. So I that almost I could see why that would help.
It's definitely tough, man. Because I feel like there's just this part of life where you process, and if you could find the one career or job like that you love, or not even just love, but like you can deal with, but you're not afraid to lose, I think there's so much power in that. Because to what you said, like if you want to sleep in all day, like before you go to work the next day, fuck it, just do it, right? Like at the end of the day, you're going to do your job to the fullest of your ability, which is probably more than the next guy next to you, right? Like we all here work hard. So my thought is like fuck it, like don't stress about it. At the end of the day, if they fire you, they fired a good worker. That's the way I see it, right?
Yeah.
So and your skill set, and you could pick up where you left off at another company. So that's how I try and view the world now, is like try not to work in fear, because I worked like that for most of my life. I would say only in the past few years I don't work like that anymore, where I'm not trying to be driven by fear of losing my job. I just I just live up to what I can do, and I got to be happy with whatever I can produce on my own, right? I can't live in fear and wonder, well, what if my manager thinks like I'm not doing enough? At the end of the day, I just can't give a fuck about that. I got to just focus on me and do what's right for me. So, yeah.
So true.
Nice. I feel that's. I think that's really good advice there, G.
Yeah, thanks, coach.
Yeah. Nightmare Phil, how about you? How was your week?
It started off literally shitty. Like, so middle of my work day.
Pun intended.
Yeah, it was literally shitty. I was middle of my work day working like normal. I need to use the restroom. I go in to the restroom, and like a bubble comes up from the toilet. Like it went bloop, and I was like, okay, what is that about? And I grabbed the plunger, and I just like, is there like an obstruction? Like if I flush this, is something coming back? Like I had a weird feeling already.
Sounds like a scary movie.
It was this is the closest my life's been to a scary movie. So I go for the plunger a little bit, and like like poop comes up, and I was like, okay, that can't have been me. And then I try and flush it, and it doesn't flush, and that's when I freak out. I turn the light on, and I'm looking at the toilet, and then out of the corner of my eye, I see my bathtub
Oh my God.
is full of sewage, and
Jesus.
other
Mr.
people.
Hanky.
Yeah, it was an early visit from Mr. Hanky.
Community gifts
Yeah,
in your
so
tub.
yeah, so what had happened was is
I know.
Did it smell like flowers?
oh no, yeah, someone didn't use poopery, and it was not good. But
I wonder what was eaten
dude,
in that mixture.
I don't want
you know?
to I don't want to think about it.
It's just science, you know.
Yes. This is nature. This is biology, man. Whatever you eat, turns into energy and then excrement. No, but that so what had happened was the main sewage line was clogged with people flushing stuff that shouldn't be flushed. It's like,
Massive turds.
well, yeah, that should be flushed. It was
Full
stuff.
toilet paper rolls.
It was it was stuff
unused.
like non-flushable wipes, ladies feminine products, condoms, that kind of stuff,
Ah,
and it clogged the main sewage line and kicked it all back into my tub.
interesting.
And it was just your tub, right?
As far as I know, it was just my tub. I didn't see like maintenance going back and forth between everyone else's apartments
So you
cleaning.
were the chosen one.
I was the chosen
So
one
you had
to
to hold it.
receive.
You had to hold it, or did you go to the bathroom?
I went. It was just a number one, so I went,
okay,
and then
okay.
that's when I was like,
Yeah, luckily.
okay, yeah, luckily. Oh
I had
man,
nothing
I don't
to do
want to
with
think.
this.
Yeah, I don't. This is not me. I swear to God.
I think this is the fifth podcast in a row we've talked about the toilet.
Yeah, well, we speak it into existence. It's not
Yeah,
my
it's
fault it
Keep the
happened.
streak
Yeah,
alive.
this one
Yeah,
actually like
streak.
this might be the one time where it was the most natural.
Yeah, it's like
Like you know,
it
where
wasn't
we-
like a situation where like we're talking about what if or like
Yeah, like
this is
yeah.
like this happened to
Yeah,
me.
it's a shitty situation.
Yeah, and so what happened was the maintenance people came and they cleared out the block in the main line, and my tub drained, but there was still like a slime of people's shit in my tub. And I called I was calling the leasing office, like, can you send maintenance over here to deep clean? And I want you to pay for like a deep clean of this. Of my,
$350.
yeah, I would have paid $350, but they sent the maintenance guy over, and all he came over was with like a Windex bottle full of like, it was like this like,
Where it's like mixed with water.
but it was like it's like generic it was called disinfectant, like it was like not even brand name.
Kirkland
And he
brand.
was in there for like 5 minutes, and he
Nice.
came out and he didn't even use half of the squirt bottle, and I just knew it. Like I looked in, it still smelled. It still had like a little bit of grime on it, and I was like, this isn't good enough. So like I went and bought a bunch of cleaning supplies, deep cleaned it as like this is the deepest clean I've ever done a bathroom, and I think even Beef would be proud
That's
of
good, man.
of how much bleach and Ajax and
You even drink it like halfway. You're just like,
I need to test
Elbows.
this.
yeah.
Oh man! But after Monday,
You
my
put like
my
a ton of Drano into the drain.
I
just
did
like-
Drano.
yeah,
I put Drano
Oh, just to put to
just
to
because
ensure.
I didn't want anything kick back because I knew that stuff went down the drain,
It
but
destroys
I don't
the
know.
piping.
They deserve it.
Dude, what's going to stop that from happening again, though? You know, because now you know you're the main pipe that if
Yeah.
something like that happens.
You know, I didn't think about that until you just
Because
said
really,
that.
they didn't solve the.
Yeah.
I mean, they fixed the problem temporarily, but
s-
it's not solved. You know what I mean?
They sent an email to the apartment saying don't flush that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure
Yeah.
that's going to help.
yeah,
Well, shit. Since they did that, you know it's never gonna happen again.
yeah, no, yeah. People listen.
You
Yeah.
should just like run through the hall if it happens again.
Yeah.
You just like kick
Well, no,
open
I did
people's
that.
door
Well-
with a Johnny Jolter that we talked about
Yeah.
like 3 episodes ago. Where you're just like squirting shit all over.
Well,
you like
I
suck
did.
it in and just like squirt it.
I did run through the halls. So when I was listen. So when I went to the restroom, I noticed I heard flushing up in the because the
Stop flushing.
were you here? Because that's exactly what I said.
Oh my
Please God no. So the apartment above us is directly above us, like the same floor plan and everything. So their bathroom's right above my bathroom, and I heard them flushing, and I knew that they didn't know that why it wasn't flushing. But every time they flushed, that bubble that came out of my toilet, it came through.
Oh my
It
God.
came through. So I was like, oh,
That's too
so
funny.
it has to do something to do with whoever's flushing above me. So I ran up the stairs, and was pounding on my updoors.
Oh
like,
my God.
Stop flushing! It's kicking everything. And I was like on the phone with the leasing
They
office.
just
Like
keep flushing it.
I come back and my bathroom's just flooded.
Dude.
Oh man.
It reminds me of Jumanji for some reason.
It reminds me of the ride on Universal. You know how you stop and that river's
I've
coming?
never been to Universal.
You've never been?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's when you're
The
on that
Jurassic Park ride?
the train ride, the Amtrak ride or whatever, and it takes you around Universal Studios and shows you like behind the scenes. It shows you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, the VIP.
Okay,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a part where
Oh,
you
yeah,
stop by
yeah.
the river.
That's in Beverly
and
Hills
the
Cop.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
water's coming down, and
Yeah.
it, like you get that sense of panic, like, oh shit, is the water
Yeah,
actually
the
going to reach
stairs.
us?
The stairs,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it comes
And the
through
water
stairs,
is the
yeah.
water going to come
Yeah.
down and like overflow the tram too?
Yeah.
And so like that's what I imagine his like panic mode.
That's
I-
where you want
The
to
river's coming.
If I hadn't seen anything or I hadn't gone to the bathroom, when I noticed my bathtub was still filling. It
Oh
would have
my God,
it
dude,
would
that's
have
scary.
it would have
And
flooded
where
my,
do you like throw that water at that point? Like there's nowhere to put it.
I don't want to think about it.
Seriously.
I know,
Because
we
you
would
back up
never.
a toilet, you
Yeah.
can literally like you could get that water poured in like the sink or something, you know, or whatever you can.
Yeah, I would do outside in the
Damn, dude.
like you're
That's
getting a
crazy.
bucket. You're getting buckets.
That's
at
how
that
my
point.
that's how my week started.
Nice.
So
How did it end?
after After that, it was good. I had a couple successful video game streams. Played some Warzone. Played some
Nice.
Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
That
you
was
did.
oh man, I definitely am rusty online. There are some really good people online, and with Super Smash Brothers, it's not like Call of Duty where there's you can pub stomp or like play against like bad players and sometimes play good players. There's a ranking system, and if you're on a tear and your rankings going up, you're gonna start going against way better people,
That's
and
interesting.
it's if once you hit a certain threshold, those people are professionals or they're training to be professionals, and they are really good, and they stomped me, and I was not ready for it. But yeah, work end of the month is usually busier, so that's actually good for me. I can make bonus. That's always fun. Get a little couple extra dollars in the checking account. Yeah, that was my week.
By the way, today's payday or tomorrow for some people, so yay.
Not me. Next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely one of those people looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, Coach, how about you?
My week's been good. I mean, it's end of the month now, like G had mentioned. So end of April means college students everywhere are frantically scurrying around to finish last minute projects and study for finals, which means a lot of my athletes are doing that right now. So I'm getting text messages left and right asking about changing times or adjusting times because they have a group project that has only been assigned since January, but it still hasn't gotten done
Awesome.
yet. So
Yeah.
that shit has to get done before finals, and then thankfully there's only there's only like a week and a half left of school, and then it's like officially summer. Not that like that means anything for me for work, but um, then a lot of my kids will go home. It'll just be kind of like open hours in our weight room, and it's kind of like that now. We've got it's just kind of been working with kids' schedules and getting everybody prepared for a lot of kids going home. We have our football team's got a playoff game to go to the national title game this weekend.
Nice.
So if they win, they'll be going to the national title game.
That's cool.
So I'll be
Good job,
that's
you
how
did
that's
it.
ending. I'll be spending that cheering on and lose my voice screaming at that game.
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, other than that, it's been a pretty good week. It's nothing bad happened. I haven't had any bathtub full of shit. So I can't
Literally
really.
and figuratively.
Yeah, I really can't complain on that at
I went
all. Like,
duty.
yeah, even if something would have happened, I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, Nightmare Fuel takes the cake. I
That was
can't
horrifying.
compete with that. Like,
Yeah.
The poop cake.
Like I have
Yeah.
ants at my place that I cannot kill,
Yeah.
but
I'll
that's
trade
the
you.
least. Yeah.
they all of a sudden don't
That's the
seem
least
so
of my
bad.
problems. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nightmare would have taken ants over other people's shit any day.
I'm
Remember the-
pretty sure I live on an ant farm. I've killed like 5 colonies so far. So I've even helped other neighbors by killing their ants. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you
My
think of
dad-
Bug's Life when you kill him?
Yeah. Or ants, the movie.
Yeah, I think of ants too. Like when they go to war.
Fuck yeah.
Like
dude.
they're going to war with you.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
grasshoppers.
Jen gets a crack. Well, my wife, but she gets a crack out of it because like I'm literally talking to those ants. Like I'm like, yeah, take that bait, bitch. You're going to take that
Die.
to your
Yeah.
queen, and she's gonna fucking die. Like or I'm spraying them down, like telling them to die. You know, like yeah, ants are definitely my biggest. I hate them. Like I just hate them. You can give me
I mean,
spiders.
jokes on you if you speak
but-
English.
Oh, we're losing
Yeah.
this camera. Keep going. I'm gonna fix this camera real quick.
Oh, okay.
Anyways. What? So, G, you battle ants. You're battling ants on the daily at your place.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like we had issues where they're inside the house and they're coming through like all the crevices and stuff, and I eventually got rid of those. And then we have a small dog, so they're kind of going after the dog food. So we moved the
shit.
dog food more closer to the front door. So now we don't have like ant issues anymore. But now like the ants are in the garage, so now I'm having to like battle those, and it's just annoying, man. Ants are they're just a pain in the butt, you know? They're everywhere and like they just don't go away. So I can't stand them. Ants are probably like my biggest pet peeve as far as insects go, or anything with a large amount of quantities. So Beef and I are going through the Matrix right now, but we're still here with the chat and Twitch stream. So
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the scene in the original Willy Wonka or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where they're
Oh,
going through
yeah.
tunnel.
Like the candy bar or whatever.
Yeah, through the
ride is growing.
monkey vortex
Yeah,
or whatever.
It's the camera. It's totally it's crapping out right now. Let me. I'm gonna see if I can unplug it.
Smack some sense.
That's a lot of crap in a week for you there, Nightmare.
Story of my life.
Well, while Nightmare's figuring that out,
no.
let's
What's going on here?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's taking over the whole thing.
Yeah, because
I think Morpheus might be trying to reach out to us.
All right, I'll take the blue pill.
Are you the one?
Yeah.
No, the red one.
Oh, the red one.
The blue one. The story ends.
Yeah, no, I want to
Then
find
I'll
out what
take
happened.
the blue one.
God, I hope it's just. I hope it is just the.
But yeah, it's funny because like I have the ant like pebble stuff you can lay around your yard, and then
Yeah.
so that's like a barrier around our place. Then I have like
Okay.
different types of sprays. Then I have like 2 different types of traps. I have like the green one that pops up, and then I have the clear ones. The clear ones I think are the most effective.
Yeah.
So if anyone has ant problems, I mean you can use
If you need
clear,
recommendations on
Yeah.
how to get rid of
clear ant traps work really well.
My dad uses the pebbles and they work really well.
Really?
Yeah.
I've laid. Well, you know what? I can't deny it's worked on the outside, but you can't lay them inside. So that's my problem. Is like inside the foundation of the house. I think there's ant colonies. So I've just been killing them off slowly.
Yeah. I mean, you could go old school and just use a good old magnifying glass.
Oh man, one by one.
Hell,
I don't know
I mean,
about
hey.
that one. Dude,
Well-
I even have this thing that's like a glue stick, and pretty much where if you can find the crevice they're coming from in your house, it kills the ants. Like it's like the slime that kills the ants, and it can kill the queen when they take it back. But it also seals off the area where they're coming through. It works. So
Oh, that's pretty cool.
yeah, I did it in the kitchen and in my upstairs bathroom, and it completely solved the problem. So
Yeah. Well, while I guess we're still,
We're good now.
we're still working with the camera here, but we'll go ahead.
We got it.
We got
Good job.
our Junto question of the week this week. We'll go ahead and jump right into there. So the Junto question of the week, I'll explain it. We'll go over it, and then I actually will. I'm going to nominate myself to go first. Because the second we kind of decided on this question. I had a couple of people in mind, and there's actually an individual that I kind of wanted to look into a little bit further, and getting his and how he fits into this Junto question is someone that I've just kind of seen for a long time, and it's really I think it's a really good story. And I think he promotes a lot of positivity. At least the stuff that I've seen, I haven't seen like really like negative stuff online. And I happen to catch his stuff all the time on like Facebook when you go down that rabbit hole of like the little videos. But so Junto question for the week, it reads as is: have you lately heard how any present rich man, here or elsewhere, got his estate? So I'll say it again. Have you lately heard how any present rich man, here or elsewhere, got his estate? So my
Cherry
my
Epstein.
what's that?
Cherry Epstein.
Jeffrey.
Oh, is it Jeffrey Epstein?
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Fuck that.
Yeah, his brother Jerry's like, don't drag me into this shithole.
Ben and Jerry's.
He's like, I've stayed underneath the radar for so long.
Yeah. He's told
What
me.
if
how-
he doesn't even have a parking ticket? Like he's just so like by the book. Like
Well, now he just got fired from his job, and now his life is ruined. So.
canceled.
So the individual that I chose that I actually wanted to read a little bit more about, and I kind of knew a little bit about his history, just from the stuff that he's promoted on Facebook videos and stuff, like doing conferences, and he's kind of, I don't know, people might want to say like guru or an influencer on social media of some sort, but his name is Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys know who that is.
Dude, everyone knows Gary V.
Okay, so
Well, explain
Gary.
Explain it to someone like that may not know who he is.
Okay, so Gary
You know
was.
Everyone
Oh.
knows, but just explain it to people who don't
Yeah.
know.
Even
Yeah,
God
so
knows.
Gary. So looking into his stuff, he's a huge entrepreneur. He wasn't born in the U.S. He was born in the Soviet Union. Basically, the stuff how I came to find him or I guess I came to see his stuff was, he not only is he just like the biggest Jets fan I think that I've ever met, um, and seeing that, but he's very big into helping others kind of like create this like mindset, and these ideas about like how they want to go after and be an entrepreneur themselves, like this mindset of like creating a business or operating a business. I've seen a couple of videos of his where he talks to employees of his, and he talks about, hey, like, you guys work for me, or we're working on this business here. This is how I came up with this idea, and this is how we've morphed this business, and like this is how we treat our customers. This is how we started becoming more successful. This is how we stay successful. He's also talked with some other individuals that have started their own businesses, and he kind of has like the ins and outs of where they went. But he's also, I mean, he brings on other people. He talks to them about the road that they went to make their businesses successful, and basically pouring like all you have in there. So he essentially started with his family business that he took over, and it was a successful business. And in the late '90s, early 2000s, just absolutely ran off with the business in terms of how much money they were bringing in. Changed the name. He launched online sales, so it was a whole thing in the early 2000s to start doing these online sales for their liquor business or their wine businesses. He launched a webcast on YouTube that covered their wine, so he was huge into like this beginning of like the web era for reaching like a wide variety of people across the nation. And just some of his stories about how he expanded, he created really good contacts, really good relationships with people, and took care of customers. And in a lot of instances, in some of the stories that he tells, it's led to a lot more business because of that word of mouth. He got really good business practices, and overall has just been a really successful individual, building his own brand, and making sure these businesses are run. So that was kind of guy that, like, reading some of this stuff. Obviously, I mean, now he's kind of sold off. Um, he's some of the stuff that he's co-founded has been sold off. Like, I think he sold one of his businesses, or brands off to like Constellation Brands, which is like a huge conglomerate like for alcohol business. That's where a lot of like craft breweries get sold or end up selling off to for huge amounts of money. So he's made quite a bit of coin in his day, off his business. But yeah, just kind of getting to look into that a little bit was something I actually really wanted to. So
What about him that if you could mirror? I mean, I guess learning from him, because in the spirit of that question too, like what are things that you could apply to your life that he's done? Because essentially, if we're getting this know person about how they conduct their business, you can apply it
yeah,
a lot to how you carry your own life. So what would
yeah,
be
absolutely.
based on what
Um,
you've watched?
I just think, like, I mean, some of the stuff that I've listened to him talk about is just like how involved in how his thought process of how to take care of the consumer for your business. He points out in some of his stuff, like, this is the person I'm targeting. This is like what this person is made of. This is usually the demographic. This is how they're made up. He's like, if I can, like, what's going to make me successful in this, and really like understands how to break down people, and really knows how to like actually like attract and get out to people in that sense. Specifically, one of his wine businesses that I've seen is making sure that personally dealing with customers when they were first starting off, and really establishing connections and relationships, and making it a personal endeavor for those people really made a huge impact. And making it personal for those people, like, and led to other big customers or bigger customers. They noticed how well their friends were getting treated by a certain business and how great the process was. So now these people actually had deeper pockets, ended up coming over to this guy for their business because of how well like word of mouth like traveled, and how well he was treating people that he knew. So it's like, never know where the next thing's going to lead. I think that's kind of something that I'm going through, just like for my work. It's like, you never know. I was actually told by one of my mentors, you never know when you're going to meet your next boss. And I've kind of tried to keep that in terms of like making connections and being personal with people and doing that. So that's also something I've just seen from him from a business standpoint.
That's so true.
I really want to reflect because like you really never know who knows who, especially in my business. You know, a lot of people have contacts and know people. And you just never know when you're going to meet that next person that might be looking at your resume for a job offer next time.
It's that 7 degrees kind of thing. Everyone
Yeah.
kind of knows each other. Like
Yeah.
we're connected to people, and you just don't know how. Like there's different ways.
Absolutely.
Well, and he's
Now, I'm
looked
gonna
at
do
as a
something.
motivational speaker too. So I like that he gives it
Oh,
to people
absolutely.
straight. Like that's what I really like about him. He brings it back to basics most of the time for people, and he just gives it to them straight. Like if they're making excuses, he'll just call them out on it.
Absolutely.
He actually
No,
was
he's
at
very straightforward.
he was actually at our Zoomapalooza. I don't want
Oh,
to
really?
go. I don't want to go too much into. It was yeah.
Not when I was there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so
You
but I don't
missed
want
your
to say
shot.
too much. Yeah, but
You missed your shot.
he was very good. We had a lot of we had a IT conference that Goichi. Sorry, I started getting buzzed from Nightmare's drink.
I'm a heavy pour.
Um,
I've got a gentle pour.
And but yeah, he did
That's
a really good
awesome,
job.
dude.
Yeah, he happened to be there. So I actually read one of his books. So he's I do like him a lot for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this a little bit different. Usually, I would. I mean, usually we've been like randomly or maybe not so randomly, subconsciously picking on somebody. I want to take. Who wants to volunteer? I'm gonna take a volunteer for this one.
I was
Who wants
gonna
to
go. I was
Yeah.
because I think mine is similar to him in a way, but in a similar in how they carry themselves. But Joe Rogan is the one I was gonna do. So I don't know
Nice.
if you guys saw, but recently Spotify just announced like they just made a killing with Joe Rogan. Like
Yeah,
it just got
he
announced.
Got his earnings in or whatever.
Yeah, it was a crazy amount of money, right? And Spotify took a big chance on him, and vice versa, right? Like
Yeah.
I would say the opposite.
Yeah,
I would
right?
say the
Like, he was
opposite.
well,
yeah.
I would say for Spotify too, because you look about how much money they had to invest in him off the bat to get him to be secluded, to isolate to that you know what I mean? Like, and that's a lot
Wasn't
of
it
money up
guaranteed
But
front.
with Joe
money?
Rogan, you know, like the return's going to be there, right?
Yeah, I guess like there's less risk, but I
It's just like Howard
imagine
Stern.
I bet money though, like even Joe Rogan was like coming hot with that money. He's like, hey, I want a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
YouTube
it's like-
is huge. Like people switching platforms that's a big deal.
Yeah, because that's a big thing
And
that I
being
think
exclusive,
about.
yeah,
Because
for
I've been listening to podcasts for the last, I think about the last 5 years, and I always go to Apple, right? But Joe Rogan, we go to Spotify. I didn't even think twice.
Wow.
Literally, like moved, and honestly,
says
because
something.
of that, actually, Spotify did kudos to Spotify too. I've been listening to other podcasters on Spotify now, and also because we are on Spotify.
Hey, Spotify.
But
Yeah.
Hey, we'll switch platforms.
That's a good one, buddy.
Spotify.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
We're basically like Joe Rogan.
maybe,
Didn't
yeah,
even have
yeah.
to tee him up for that.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that was. He's
We almost have-
our marketing
Look
guy.
at- I was
It's-
looking
You
at
gotta
the
make
wrong
that drink
camera.
stronger. You gotta make that drink stronger next time, okay?
Yeah. If that's what it takes.
Cross-eyed.
No
Yeah.
lemonade, only rum.
Yeah. Like it'd be funny. You don't. It's like a placebo effect. You don't ever put any alcohol in it, and I'm still like just getting sauced.
Oh man.
What I like about Joe Rogan, and I mean everybody, no introduction, but Joe Rogan has the Joe Rogan Experience, but Fear Factor, UFC. I mean, there's so many different stand-up comedian, but so many different avenues that he has, revenue streams coming in from, and I can imagine he's a heavy investor on top of it.
He was only a co-host, by the way, on UFC when he first started.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Is like it's amazing what markets he's in. But what I would say, because and I'm gonna make this short and sweet, but what I liked about him the most is going off of what I've learned about Joe Rogan and why I think, and you could apply this to like The Rock too, because I think about The Rock as well, is that they're very likable and then they're willing to just take chances like on everything. Like The Rock has said that, but Joe Rogan will take chances on everything, and then he's very likable, like where he gives people safe places to speak their mind. He speaks his mind too, and sometimes it's not appreciated by the media or a group of people. But he always, when he lets people on, he's very good about letting people speak their mind. And like I think that's so important for our world, not just from a business standpoint, because I think he's almost like going against the grain on his approach right now, especially where people are taking more of a side on, on politics and stuff. And so I feel like he's doing a really good job at letting people speak what they need, say what they need to say,
Mm.
and that's so important. And I think like it's such an opposite business strategy, and it's working, and it works too because they say things that potentially you can market a lot more. You know?
Especially having both sides of the aisle on, and not just having one
Yeah, yeah. He's free,
one
yeah.
viewpoint. He's having
Yep.
right people on the right, people on people on the far right, people on the left, people that are far left. He's having everyone on. He wants to hear their story and what they believe.
I mean, even we just said it, Edward Snowden, who's not even left or right, right? Like what he did was, some people are like, oh, anti-American, and it's like more you read about him, and I've read his book recently, and but he has people like that on there.
Super American.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. Depending on how you
look at it.
define democracy and all that, but
Right.
but going back to with in comparison to Gary is their ability to just kind of throw. I mean, business, especially in their shoes, like just throwing shit at the wall is like what most I feel like salespeople will do. What I've observed, but when you're especially doing your own business and you're an entrepreneur, like, I mean, that's what we're doing here. I mean, we're trying so many different things every week. You guys are on here. We're kind of just throwing shit at the wall and hoping, it attracts people to want to view us or appreciate our brand. And so I think applying that to the Long Live Junto, I think about people like Joe Rogan and Gary Vee too, like keeping it positive, keeping it about friends and fun, because that's a part of our mission. And then also, the ethical side of things, where I think there's an ethical standpoint from Joe Rogan where acceptance is just such, I mean, we just talked personally before this, Goichi and I did, about, not putting guilt on others and how important acceptance is. And I think that's a good business strategy is acceptance. Like, acceptance is so rare. And I appreciate that from Joe Rogan. So I brought him up, but
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, he's a really good
That's a
example
good example.
for sure.
Well, G Nightmare, who wants to volunteer to go third, and who's gonna get stuck with 4?
I don't have a particular person. I guess I'll jump in. I don't have a particular
Alright.
person. It's kind of more of a meme. I don't know if you guys saw about the Josh fight.
Oh yeah,
That
I did see
happened?
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like, it started out as a meme, but they raised a bunch of money for Children's
didn't know that.
Hospital, and
Oh, that's cool.
and the
Oh,
little
yeah.
the little kid that won the Josh fight, he actually was treated at that hospital that they donated the
What?
to.
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, so I thought that, like, that's just something that I heard of, like, where an estate was given out, and I thought that was really cool. It's kind of like the internet finally doing something
Positive.
Yeah, yeah. I know they do positive things.
It
occasionally,
definitely
but
wasn't shined on the way you just spoke about it, though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the shining moments in
That's cool.
internet history of, like,
In society, too.
yeah, like, and it was like totally, like, fun loving. Like, I didn't hear any negative. Not like there
Mhm.
was I think there were hundreds of people there, and, like,
Spider-Man's.
yeah, Spider-Man. There were
That's so cool. Power
the
to the
ori-
people, man.
yeah, and it's like
Don't you
didn't-
wish you had the name Josh when you
Nope.
were?
I'm fine with mine,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm
I
good.
personally know Josh, and he said he would have taken out that kid if he
Oh,
if he
yeah?
had known about that. Yeah, like there's a lot of Joshes that like they
You're
would have
going-
been
Yeah,
out
you
for
put me in
blood.
that, dude, I'm
Yeah.
going to the final stages.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
care
going
what kid's
down.
there.
Well, it's like when you played paintball, where like you get hit and you just wipe it off. And you're just like,
I don't know what kind of
How-
paintball games you've been playing,
how
bro, but
dare
there's an
you.
honor code there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many people though, like where they'd wipe it off. That's how I feel like the
I
Josh
will
fight
walk.
would be.
I'll be out of the game. I will walk up to you and I'll blast you, dude.
You were into
I've seen Beef play paintball
Airsoft.
before.
airsoft.
Yeah. I did both paintball and airsoft. Paintball first, then airsoft.
Did you see him about to go like full vigilante on that? Like he was like,
Oh yeah,
he's about to go Gattaca.
execute him. Yeah, that's my. I haven't really seen anybody get their huge estate, but like that, I feel like that story was
That was a cool one.
Yeah.
I think that's a
really-
really
Out
good
of the
story.
box too.
yeah.
Because I knew about that, but I didn't know like.
Yeah,
that
there was
in-depth
like
of
a
the
lot
story.
of like
That's
they
cool.
raised a bunch of money, and like
That's
they
awesome.
so the original coordinates were like was somebody's private property,
Uh-huh.
and they like whoever owned that private property was like, you can't do it here, but here's the coordinates to this park that you guys can all go to, and like he put it up on his property, and like it was like just down the street, I guess, and it was really cool.
Did
Like
you mention the hotels? Like all the hotels were like everybody that was checking in, it was like, my name's Josh this, Josh that, Josh that. Like, you know what I mean? Just like
They have a hotkey that just says Josh.
Josh, yeah. But they were been like, you know what I mean? What are the statistical odds that it was just like Josh,
Everyone's a Josh.
Josh,
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone just keeps taking
Yeah.
everyone's room.
Yeah.
I think
it's
I saw a stat. There were like, I think there was only like 65 Joshes that showed up out of like the 100. Some
That's still
people.
a good amount. Though.
Yeah, that's especially thinking where exactly where was it?
It was in like Nebraska or something.
Oh,
my
It was in the
God,
middle of
dude.
nowhere. It was in the
Yeah.
middle
like,
of
that's
nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 65 Joshes traveled.
Dedicated.
Yeah.
One of them's from like I had a brain fart.
The original one was the original.
Brain
How
fart.
much liquor do
Oh,
you
Yeah.
dude, I had like a
Not-
brain fart.
Not much. But the original one was from who sent the message was from Arizona.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I think one showed up from the original place, the original Josh Swain. That's the full name is Josh Swain. The guy like pulled a bunch of Josh Swains in the.
I saw the text. That
Yeah.
text, yeah, that
Yeah,
started it all.
so the original Josh Swain and then the Nebraska or wherever it was held Josh Swain. They did a rock paper scissors to see who was the original or the OG, or the only real Josh Swain, I thought that was funny.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so I guess pass it over to G.
Yeah, how about you, G? Yeah.
So for me, I don't have anyone particular, but the one I would say is In-N-Out, the family who privately
Okay.
owns In-N-Out, and unfortunately, that family has passed away.
It's Martinez now, I
it's-
think, right?
I can't. Yes, because
Yeah.
she's married. So the
Yeah.
daughter of from the royalty of like the In-N-Out people who founded them, the daughter still runs the business. And from what I know, from what I read, and I'm sure Beef knows a lot about them too, the daughter didn't change a damn thing. And that's the one thing. That's the reason why I'm choosing In-N-Out is like it's a family-ran business, but they were never corrupted or bought out by bigger corporations. Like they did it their way. They ran the business their way, and it's generated success over year after year. And to me, it only grows bigger and bigger. But the one thing I love about In-N-Out is like the way that family approached their business model was, in my eyes, that's what I would want to do in a business. You create something simple and not necessarily unique, but just simple and clean and like with excellent service. So it always starts with the staff, in my opinion, right? Like obviously you have to have a good product, but in order to have a good product, you have to have a good staff to execute on that product. So like to me, like whenever you go to most In-N-Outs, like you're always going to get great service. Rarely do you get a meal messed up, and usually the people are working their asses off there. I can't even think of a fast food restaurant where I've seen harder workers working at a fast food restaurant than In-N-Out workers. And so in return, I don't know if that's still the same today, but growing up as a teenager, like that was like your go-to place. Like if you wanted to do well, like as a teenager and like have a good job at a fast food restaurant, In-N-Out's like the king out here in Southern California anyways. Where like you'll get good benefits, you'll get good pay, and you're literally getting paid for how hard you work in a sense. I've never worked at In-N-Out, so like people that worked at In-N-Out probably say, I should have got paid double. But at the time when I was growing up, like you would get paid a lot more than minimum wage at In-N-Out.
Like a
Just-
double.
Yeah, like a double salary, you know. So
Dude, I had
also I've heard like managers get paid really well there too. So.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, it's just a good company. They take care of their employees. They understand that that's the face of their company. But the other highlight is like their menu, man. Like they haven't changed a damn thing on that menu, and it's just stayed the same. And I think it's kind of like one of those things. It's like it's not like McDonald's or Burger King. It's when you go to In-N-Out, you know what you're going to get. You know the quality. You know how good it's going to taste. Like you can reminisce with that thought. But when you go to like In-N-Out or you go to Burger King or McDonald's, it's like, are my fries going to be cooked all the way? Are they going to be cold? Is my burger going to be all messed up? Is it going to be missing pickles? Like when you go to In-N-Out, you don't worry about that. Like, yes, they have a simple menu, but they also have like this catering service where like if you want something special on your burger or your fries or whatever your drink, like they'll make it for you. And I think like going that little extra mile makes you unique, and it makes people want to come back because it's like a simple menu, but you can still have it your way. So it makes almost like a special experience for that customer. So yeah, definitely In-N-Out is my top choice there.
I like their system too, because they're. Have you ever watched
Yes.
how they do? It's very similar to the McDonald's way of. I mean, if you ever seen, everyone I know a lot of people. I don't know if anyone at home seen The Founder, but it goes over the McDonald's brothers of how they analyze the system in which they would make the burger and the fries, but In-N-Out is still carries a lot of that same strategy because they have such a huge demand. Anyone that goes to In-N-Out, I mean, even when we were in Austin, the line was crazy. It was crazy, like how out the door, like how the. So I always appreciate the. There's a lot I appreciate about In-N-Out, but the system too is another one where you're just like, the system keeps it going where even though you have to wait in that damn line, you're still like, okay, I'm still getting at a reasonable time.
It's efficient still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I
The
agree.
crazy thing, and like when you're talking about their, like how well they pay, and you start at a certain rate, and every time you learn something new, you get a pay raise, like
See, that-
immediately.
like you're rewarded for
yeah,
like
you're
stuff.
actually rewarded
That's
for
so rare.
for learning, like, and it definitely teaches you, responsibility and stuff. Someone I actually worked with, my first job was McDonald's. I was one. I
Respect.
was one of those people. One of the girls I worked with still works for In-N-Out today.
Wow.
She left McDonald's for In-N-Out, and she still works there today. And
Wow.
I think she's some kind of manager.
Nice.
They actually sent her up to Colorado for that. Remember, I don't know if you heard about the one that opened in Colorado. It had like a 16-hour line. Yeah.
Damn.
They sent her. They In-N-Out sent her up, paid for her hotel room, paid
how
for
you
her
do it.
travel, and they had her working the Colorado until it kind of calmed down, and they sent her back.
That's kind of where I feel like In-N-Out's losing. It stayed true to like Southern California for a while, and then it's like
I agree.
it's now they're spreading. No disrespect, and maybe this is a little bit of jealousy too, where it's like starting to spread to all these states.
This is mine.
Yeah, because when we were in Austin too, I was like, because there's Whataburger
Yeah.
is the Texas like pride, right? And so my wife stopped us from getting that, unfortunately. So I couldn't compare. I know it really bugged me out because I was gonna get a Whataburger at like 12, and then an In-N-Out there to like
That
try
sounds
to.
like the greatest plan ever.
I know,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like
Yeah,
it's
dude.
exact. Like we just needed the White Castle somewhere, or,
Oh
like
my
around
my
there. You know
God.
what I mean? Like I just.
That would have been the ultimate like
It's-
trifecta.
Yeah,
Oh
see what I'm
my
saying? Like it's
God.
definitely worth.
You could have literally filmed that interaction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That
exactly.
experience.
Yeah, and she.
Because
she
that's an
just-
experience you will not get. Like
Yeah,
Damn.
it's like a Bermuda Triangle of perfection. So
of burgers.
Yeah.
Coach actually, he said he had a Whataburger out
God.
there.
Yeah, as someone who's had Whataburger and has had In-N-Out, like I'll take In-N-Out every day of the week.
Wow. Okay.
I've heard.
What's-
So I know a Texan, and they say Whataburger kills In-N-Out. So
All the
I-
Midwest people, they say Whataburger is way better than In-N-Out.
I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, it's
So,
like so it must be. Oh, the other thing too is like what G had pointed out was that In-N-Out, I feel like the quality has gone down a little bit. So maybe if like
I
they
do
had
kinda
it
agree
at a
with
different
that, too.
time, if they had it when we were kids, maybe it'd blossom. Because my dad like grew up in Chicago, and he so White Castle, right? That was big there, and so when I asked my dad about it when we watched Harold and Kumar, it was simple. It's like when you go to Harold and Kumar, when you go to Harold and Kumar's, when you go
I
to
wish.
White Castle, you essentially are like, it's exactly like what the movie hit on the head. My dad said it's stoner food, and so you order a ton of these little burgers. And so I had the honor of eating it with my dad, and it is not good at all. But when you leave though, it does the job. It's like McDonald's. It like does the job. When we left, there's this taste that's on your mouth that I can't explain. That not even In-N-Out does, where like it stays on your mouth the rest of the day.
like the microwave burger won't come out of your taste like buds.
It's kind of like that, but it's like a good taste. It's like a little it's like a cheese, but like a little fat. Like there's just like, and then we were driving, and
Probably
my
chemicals.
dad was like, "You taste that?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "That's it."
I feel like different
That's the
things
good
too
stuff
have
right
like
there.
different quality. So like
Oh,
probably
it
like
gets worse as
yeah,
So,
so probably
I
the
had, like,
White
the
Castle
bottom
in
of the
Chicago is
barrel.
really good, right?
Yeah.
Or like
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Louisiana.
yeah.
Like I have a buddy out there, and he told me he's
Like
like,
the Popeyes.
we're talking about Popeyes,
Yeah.
and he's like, dude, it is the
Yeah,
best.
it's like
out
it's like
here.
literally
I didn't
like
believe him, but
gigantic.
like you think about it, it has to be really good out there, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's literally the commercial, right?
Yeah.
Popeyes chicken is a lady from Louisiana.
You
so-
can't screw up Cajun food in Louisiana.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
They have
you
like
can.
crawdad or stuff.
You won't
like
live.
that.
Yeah.
The one thing I thought was funny that when we were talking about In-N-Out is that like their menu, it's burgers and fries and shakes.
Yeah.
And like that's what McDonald's used to be. And like they expanded their menu. They got chicken nugget, salad.
Yeah.
But
Rib.
In-N-Out, they're sticking to their guns. We have burgers, fries, and shakes.
I think it's because they're smaller too. Like they're, McDonald's is global, right? So like I think when McDonald's Corporation people are thinking about it, they're like, we gotta cater to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
So they think about, well, I think like when you go to like a McDonald's in Japan, I've never been, but I'm assuming there's some type of twist there a little bit. Or like when you go to one in Hawaii, yeah, like maybe they have like spam incorporated in their McDonald's.
Or like a McDonald's in like India.
Japanese, you never know. Japan, maybe they have like some type of sushi burger. I don't know, but
McGrits in South.
yeah,
It's like all
you never
over.
know.
Yeah.
But like what he was saying with Austin, Texas, like what's interesting is I'm pretty sure there was a petition that went on for In-N-Out a little while back ago, where they wanted sweet tea on the menu, because like that's Austin, Texas signature drink, right?
Yep.
And In-N-Out said, nope, we're not going to do it. We're going to keep our menu the way it is. So,
Stick
by
to
the
your
way,
guns.
They've done that for avocado and bacon too.
Oh, dude.
Five Guys.
No, so I have a story on that one.
They
So
definitely need bacon at In-N-Out though. I'll say that. So
April 1st, I guess it's like a running joke that they post, like even In-N-Out will post it as an April Fool's joke about getting bacon and avocado. And so I was on Facebook when I can't remember, the years are blending, but there was one year where it was the first time I ever heard it. I fell for it, and I drove to the one.
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, and waited in line. I mean, at the end of the day,
what if it costs a ride?
Yeah, you get an In-N-Out burger.
Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, you're gonna
but-
get In-N-Out
but
burger.
not
but
getting
like
bacon, dude.
the
like,
I said bacon, and I was like extra bacon, and then they were like, the guy's like, yeah, we don't have bacon here, and then I was like, no, it said it online, and then he's like, no, we don't have bacon here, and like
oh
I had to
my
explain to the guy,
God.
and then I showed the guy, and it was from the In-N-Out site, and then he's like, and then I figured out it was April Fool's, like it didn't. He's like, we don't have
Sucks so
bacon.
bad.
Yeah,
Oh
I was
my
like,
God, dude.
yeah, that's the
That's-
first time I ever fell for April Fool's where it was so hard, but no,
Oh my
you know
God.
when everyone's like April Fool's and people see it. I was in the car and only this guy who was like dealing with me, being probably
Yeah,
frustrated.
yeah.
Like, why is this guy? Like, how many times?
So
this
that
guy-
wasn't a fun experience.
Yeah,
You're
it was
holding
like,
up.
this
You're holding
guy
up my
was-
line.
Yeah, this
He's
guy's
like,
like
I could
sitting
give
there.
a shit about April Fools, man.
I think he either thought I was an idiot or he thought I was high. It was one or the other, and I
Could be
felt
both.
like, yeah, it could have been. And he's just sitting there, but it was like one of those April Fool's jokes where like, In-N-Out didn't even get to enjoy that moment. Like I
Yeah.
could have told that story to In-N-Out, and they like videotaped it, and then like it would have been a funny.
They should just
Yeah.
put video cameras on like the drive-through, you know? As
Yeah, people
order.
asking it. Yeah,
That
that
would've
would have
been
been
so
good.
funny.
They
Like,
play it at the executive meeting.
Yeah.
All the people.
So,
I want bacon.
two
I want
things to
bacon.
add to that. Tommy's Burgers, you know,
Oh
Tommy's,
yeah, Tom.
they do bacon now, by the way. It's not on their menu, but they do bacon.
Okay, that's good to know that.
And then
That
another
place
thing,
is like that place destroys my stomach, by the way. But I love it so much.
I forgot to say one thing that went on
Add it
this
to
week
the
for me.
list.
Today was such a big disappointment, guys, because I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I know I talked to you guys about it. So the Taco Bell by me, that's a Taco Bell Pizza Hut, right? The saddest news today, man.
Oh,
Oh
close.
no.
They got rid of Pizza Hut.
I
It's
thought
only
it was
Taco Bell now.
Yeah, I thought it was coming. Pizza's
Where
going
am I going to
downhill.
get personal pizzas for under $10, man?
And also burritos at the same
you,
place.
and you get burritos, and you get breadsticks.
Little Caesars.
Taco.
You know what's
Taco.
sad is like I would get an enchilada like on the side, and
Dude,
they're like,
enchiladas.
we don't have those anymore.
I
I'm
know,
like,
dude.
fuck you guys.
That broke my heart when they took
Dude,
away the
they're so
enchiladas.
good.
They're the best.
But yeah, to not and like it was the worst day today because I went there right, thinking I'm going to get a pizza, a personal pizza, and I was like, huh, that's weird. They're changing their sign. Like they had guys out there on the cranes or whatever changing out the sign. I'm like, why are they changing? It's Taco Bell. Why are they changing the sign? Then I see the menu and it's like literally the whole left side is gone. Like it's just empty, and it's someone doodled like, sorry, we're no longer like doing Pizza Hut. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because I think Pizza
Heartbreak.
like filed for bankruptcy.
Fuck
Yeah, so it was like
You know what's
Dude,
the
it's
worst
a
part?
shocker.
I have a Pizza Hut down the street from me, but I don't like. They don't have a drive-through, nor do they give you a personal size.
Yeah,
pizza.
it's like a
So
Pizza Hut.
I'm fucked.
It's like a it's like a Pizza Hut.
So
Wait,
anyone
yeah.
out there, anyone out there that can take In-N-Out's business model and make a drive-through personal pizza where I don't have to pick all my fucking toppings, just make it simple.
Little
okay?
Caesars.
No, I'm telling you, anyone who comes up with this idea where it doesn't have to be like this special Chipotle experience where you get to put on all these fucking toppings on your pizza, just keep it simple. Make personal size pizza. There's no one else that does it. Okay,
Dude, we
and
could do it.
you incorporate a drive-through, you're in the money, dude.
Okay.
And you make real fucking good breadsticks, not the breadsticks that like, okay, I guess I'll fucking take it because it comes with the combo and there's no substitute. Like, step your game up, people.
Okay.
I'm just saying,
Okay.
there's opportunities out there.
That restaurant exists, but it's crap pizza. It's Little Caesars. It's just drive
Yeah.
drive
It's not a drive-through.
Yeah.
And there's no personal pizza. That's pizza
It's
you
as
share
close
with
as
your
you get.
friends when you're fucking blown.
I'm wondering if like
Yeah.
somewhere it's not in California anymore, but like that exists somewhere else. You know,
It
like
has to,
yeah,
I'm
like
sure.
they it's still surviving. Like maybe in Austin.
I
It's
think
like a
it's,
utopia.
it's
There's
like
just one.
I wonder how many people do want.
This guy.
I wonder how many people do want like just personal pizzas, like the way you want them.
Well, how
like,
about you
I do
guys?
I
'cause
do
people
miss
want a
them.
personal
Yeah,
pizza?
I
I
actually
do, 'cause I
You're
like-
making, you're
my-
selling it
because
selling
my
it.
well, because my
I'm forgetting how much I love
my
them.
topping taste is
Yeah.
is so basic. It's pepperoni, mushroom,
There we go.
sausage. Like
There we
maybe
go.
onion.
Mushrooms a little. I won't say that's basic. That's like a little. That's a little extra.
It's
Okay.
a little extra.
Okay,
Yeah, a little
pepperoni and
extra.
sausage. Like
Yeah.
I'll just keep
That's
it at
basic.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's like
So they do have that pepperoni sausage, or no, sorry, no
Just
sausage.
pepperoni, yeah.
Just pepperoni,
Yeah.
just cheese, or the everything on it.
yeah.
But I think the
Supreme or
pepperoni.
whatever.
Yeah, I think even pepperoni by itself is like a bomb.
Oh
Yeah.
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 It's my go-to.
Yeah, because that was in high school. We had those at we had the personal pizzas at high school.
Mhm.
But it was similar to what we were talking about with Subway. Like I'd eat it every day. That I started getting like a nauseous. Like I would start almost gagging.
Damn.
I know, and I burned myself out on eating it, and that was.
Yeah. We
yeah.
had like the big slices, like the New York style.
Oh
like
yeah, see,
Ninja Turtles, and we like,
Yeah,
dude,
so-
it was a big one.
Dude, I
and
want
that was
Costco
good.
pizza.
It was only like $2 too in high school.
yeah, we had.
I miss
so we had,
Costco pizza.
Yeah, so we had that. We had that too, and then I ended up switching back over to that because I would dip it in ranch.
Oh,
And that was
God.
so good.
Yeah, high school. Honestly, I feel like high school really steps the game up with lunch
Yeah,
cafeteria
it
food.
does. Yeah.
my wife and I talk, and she was the one that got like the free lunches in the cafeteria. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, babe. Like, I was the spoiled kid in school, like where I got like nice lunches. I either brought it or like my mom would drop off like the Burger King lunch,
Yeah.
and I would share it with all my friends. Like
Yeah.
those were moments to remember. But I just remember I told her, I was like, dude, in elementary school or middle school, like the cafeteria lunch was like you're almost being punished as a kid to eat those lunches, you know, because it's not good. I'll never forget when we rolled up like the cheese that came with the chicken sandwich. We rolled up the cheese and we started using them as bouncy balls. I shit you not. They were bouncy balls.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, public
So,
school baby.
That was back in the day, man, when they had like bags of chocolate milk. Oh man.
So did you know like the Kraft mac and cheeses, like those nasty
Yeah.
cheeses? So there was one time, and you made me think of it's a quick story or quick like tangent, but I was trying to hit this kid that I went to grade school with, and we were now in high school, but my mom always packed bologna, and it was the nastiest bologna. It was like the Kraft
Oh,
bolognas.
man.
It was like it wasn't like good bologna. It was nasty. And so and she put mayonnaise on it, but it would sit for like 5 hours.
Oh my god.
And I would take it off, and so I took the bologna with the Kraft mac and cheese. It's one of the worst things, and to this day I hope, like I always feel guilty. There's things in life where I never apologize to people, but I tried to hit him. His name is Chris. I'll say Z because I won't say, but I went to grade school with him, and I tried to. He was like 4 tables over, and
Oh
I
my
tried
God.
to. I threw it like a frisbee,
Yeah.
and it went past him, and then this girl like turns around and it smacks her right
No
in the, and
way.
it lands right on the face. I was like, and I turned around and I was like sitting there, and my buddy, one of my Nightmare knows him too. One of my like good friends growing up, he's just like this, and like we're just sitting there and just frozen, and then I wait like about like a minute, and I look back, and Chris saw what I did. And he's just shaking his head, and he wouldn't because I was cool with him, but oh man, that made me think of that.
But you
yeah.
didn't get
Did
in
anyone
trouble?
know?
Well, she had I feel really bad for this girl too. She seemed like one of those girls that like she wasn't popular or anything.
She
She's
didn't
just sweet.
deserve
Deserved it,
bad
yeah. She
bologna
was
in
probably
her
already
face.
had a bad. She probably already had to deal with the crappy parts of high school. And I mean, if this could have hit a different popular girl, I would have definitely traded it out. But it hit this girl in the right in the face, and like, and her friends are there, and it's like, and there was mayonnaise like. On
Dude,
the
that's
back.
something out of
Hold
a
on.
movie,
Yeah,
man.
it was, and it slapped her in the face, and then like, and we looked back, and she was like looking around
With one
and-
eye.
Yeah.
Wait, but my question is, so she didn't know that you did it?
No, because it was so quick where it was almost like a movie where I like let go of it,
Yeah.
and then it was like this, and then it was going to G's head, and then it went over and sailed right over
And then she
just missed
turned
it.
So-
around. The fact
yeah.
that she turned around.
Yeah,
was
and she
great.
like looks, and then it hits her right in the face, like literally, like it wasn't like it hit her like this, like a frisbee. It like slapped on her face, like the
Yeah.
mayonnaise, like mayonnaise side. And I remember just like it was just instinct. I was like, there's nothing you could do to get me to turn around fully to check this out. Like,
So basically, bologna fell from the sky onto this girl's face, and she didn't
with
know
crab
what
mac and
happened.
cheese.
With crab cheese
Yeah.
and mayonnaise. Oh my god.
Oh,
It was one of the you think about situations in high school where you're like, there's a lot of things where I didn't deserve, but then there's a lot of things where I really like that was one of the things where I wish I could have gone up and apologized or I should have bought her lunch, and especially her. I didn't know I had no idea who she was. She could have been a junior or senior or junior or sophomore or something too. And
she talks about this situation in her therapy now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where did it all go wrong? Well, one day I got hit by bologna, and
It was all
never,
downhill. Right
I was
there.
never the same after that.
Honestly, I feel
Life
like
was good until
that's
I
the
got hit
risk
with
of being
bologna.
in high school, man. That's just like
The bologna to the crowd.
I mean, random.
What was your
I
bologna
just
to the
mean,
face
like,
moment?
random shit like that happening, right? Like there was so many times where, like at my school, we got in a lot of trouble, like where there was food fights all the time. So in the quad, like at one point they cut us off from soda. That's how bad it
Oh
was.
man.
Damn.
I know.
I remember I was in junior high, and it was like it was a public school, and they were trying to do the whole healthy thing, and they took the soda vending machines out, and we were
No,
not.
see, we just got punished because
we
we
were
kept throwing
not
cups.
happy. Well, that's just rude.
Well, because there was another thing about the jocks and the seniors, the senior wall, and it was at the top of the quad where all the food court was, and then down below was like the juniors, sophomores, or whatever. So one day, I don't know what it was, but like they were just talking shit back and forth, and one senior decided to just throw this huge like styrofoam cup right into the crowd of like juniors, sophomores, freshmen.
Just starts a war.
It literally started. Like I'm standing there watching all this happen. I'm like, fuck. There goes like all our food privileges.
Yeah.
That's all I was thinking about.
It's like slow motion. Like
It was bad,
it's like
dude.
like
The first shot.
Yeah, it's like what's
It's
the
funny
Tom
'cause it was
Clancy movie or
elevated.
something where it's like slow motion.
It's funny because it was
the
elevated
sum
too.
of all fears.
And then you had everyone spectating, so as soon as it would like land on someone not paying attention and just splatter everywhere, like everyone was like, "Oh!" So that would just get more people involved. It's like it was horrible. Yeah, my school. Yeah.
Good times.
We screwed up everything for my brother, man, because I would be a senior and he would be a junior. So like everything like my senior class would do would just like fuck him over for the next year. So like all these cool privileges would be taken away.
Mhm.
Like even in middle school, one of the guys in my class when we were in middle school, he decked a girl so hard in dodgeball, like he broke her nose, right?
Oh,
and
man.
they banned dodgeball
Oh,
forever.
that happened to me in my elementary school.
So my brother never got to play dodgeball. Like,
Yeah,
Dude,
nation
that's
ball.
the worst. She's hurt. That must have like been a sight to see,
she got decked real
Yeah,
hard
like-
because I was in that game.
Yeah, my buddy.
See ya.
Doug
It was,
Doug Woj, man.
Peekaboo.
it was
He
nation.
had a
It was
beast
nation
throw.
ball for us in elementary
Nation
school.
ball.
Oh, Nation
And
Ball,
they,
yeah.
and one of my buddy baseball teammates actually he broke his leg trying to dodge a throw, and they banned it after that.
man.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. So we one last tangent story. When I was in elementary school, I think I was in like 3rd or 4th grade. We were playing kickball, and I remember, if you guys remember what kickball is, it's pretty much literally what it sounds like. Just a big group of people sit on one side and then another group on the other side, and you literally just kick balls at each other like soccer balls or whatever. There's really no like goal to win it. But I'll never forget when my buddy was running for one of the balls and another guy was running towards him at the same time, and the guy tripped, and as my buddy was diving for the ball, the guy tripped with his mouth open and his teeth got stuck in my friend's forehead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
God.
Yeah, that was
it,
a
like,
sight
young?
to see.
Were they young where the teeth could pop out, or were those
No.
adult teeth?
They were adult teeth.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Were they supposed to pop out or no?
Yeah, my buddy, that guy, he's had like 9 lives because not only did that incident happen, I think it might have been the same year or like 1 year after, he fell in a construction area in our, like this is elementary school, right? There's a handball court and then they were setting bricks on like the side area, but they didn't put down the bricks. They left the what are they called? Rebars or whatever?
Oh,
big,
rebar?
yeah, like the big ones.
The
like,
rods?
Yeah,
Usually
the
they
rods.
put like gates
Yeah.
around that.
Yeah, I think what they had is like that orange stuff, the barrier.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he fell in it and it got in his head a little bit.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
You
he
just
might
wrap-
be on my wedding party, by the way.
Oh,
so you'll meet
nice.
him. I'll introduce him.
He like just.
Yeah.
he
This
had
will
his
be
little
my friend
accident.
He's a
Cody
little-
with 9
Yeah.
lives.
He's a little slow. He's like,
What's
He
funny
keeps
is the
it-
guy's
yeah.
really smart. But,
It's like Final Destination.
Yeah.
dude,
is this the bachelor party?
he's had. Oh, and he's almost been killed by a UPS truck. I forgot to mention that.
Can we just wrap him up in bubble wrap?
We're walking
He's
to
like,
Jack
yeah,
in the Box,
Bubble Boy.
and he
He just needs
almost
to
got
stay
clipped by
home.
a UPS truck. He jumped. I thought it was the coolest thing because he jumped out of the way like Spider-Man. as the truck almost clipped him. So yeah, my buddy's had a lot of lives.
I feel like he puts himself in these
God
situations
is-
too.
Probably,
God-
Yeah, it's
probably.
God's trying to take him out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
So G, I'm actually gonna keep you talking right now.
Okay.
So we're gonna transition. This is actually this is a segment brought to you by Goichi himself. I'm gonna let him explain it a little bit. But basically, what this segment is, are you made of Lego blocks or silly putty? So Goichi, go ahead and take it away, sir.
Yeah. So I kind of came up with this segment idea as kind of just going through life and all my trials and tribulations and whatever, what have you. Um, the way I see like my life going right now is I've had different challenges that have come to me, especially in these past few years, where it's just like one personal thing or something related to work, where it's kind of kicked me down, and I've had to build myself back up. So the way I kind of put this segment together was, we always have options in our lives, and it's really about choices. Unless someone's really holding a gun to your head, life is all about choices. So whenever you like, this could be in sports, with work, your personal life, your personal relationships. When life kicks you down, or life gives you lemons, how do you build yourself back up? And the reference is silly putty or Lego blocks. And by that I mean, do you kind of just be sluggish and you don't do anything about it? You just kind of stay in a rut and you're silly putty at that point, where you're not really building a strong foundation. You're just kind of set in your ways, and you're like, well, this is the deck, or yeah, the deck of cards that life has dealt me, and I'm just going to deal with it and just be sorry for myself. Or you go and build yourself up with Lego blocks and build something to be something one day, right? Like when you start off with one Lego block, it's just a block. But when you build something really cool, I mean, you could build a skyscraper, you could build a replication of a human being. So like that's what I'm saying is like, do you build yourself back up, or do you just kind of let yourself stay in a rut? So I'll take it first and just say for me, like that's really what I've had to ask myself multiple times in life is when I've had bad times like at work where work's almost unbearable to the point where I don't want to go. It's made me feel like mentally and physically ill. I've had to tell myself like, do I just end it right here, like as if like I just stay here and just it's a secure paycheck, it's a secure job, but I hate my life every day. Is it worth it? I made the choice to leave that job, and it was not easy. It was really freaking scary for me. I had no idea like if I was capable or good enough to get a job anywhere else. Within at that time, I'm working in IT, so and I don't have a strong IT background, or at least I didn't back then when I was a kid, teenager. I mean, I had a lot of things in my life not going in the right direction for me. I always grew up being the kid with a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and always being ahead of the game and taking care of myself, being financially stable. And man, I'll never forget. I was in college and my parents were going through a divorce. My mom had a stroke, and like it was never a safe place to like be at home. Like it was always kind of hectic, and there was just like a lot of animosity and negativity. So I always try to like get myself out of that environment and focus on college. And I just went through a lot, and I had to really reflect on my life and see like what was not bringing me happiness and what was, and try and balance that out, but also not give up. Like that was my main thing, was I just cannot give up, because if I give up on myself, I'm giving up on my family, my friends, on everything like they've supported me in. So that was my idea, was at the end of the day it's my choice to build myself up, but not just rebuild myself, but make myself better. So reflect on the things that I did wrong or what I was weak in, and rebuild myself up into a better person. And now I feel like I'm in a stage of like, maybe I'm broken down at times, but now I feel like more like I'm evolving. Like I've built a strong foundation now, and now it's all about just taking the next step in life and evolving myself. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be things in my life that I know will break me down, or kick me down one day, or at a month's time. But I just have to persevere, stay positive, and trust the process of life. And so that's kind of my story about am I made of silly putty or Lego blocks. I think for me it's mainly Lego blocks. So
For sure. Yeah, you're definitely
so
a
back
Lego
to you,
block
Coach.
person.
Yeah, back to me. I'd like to say that I'm made of Lego blocks. I don't know. For me, when I go through my process, my stuff, very similar to yourself, where like you have like like family and friends. But like for me, like I think about myself, like for my situation where um, anything that kind of any like setback or um, I wouldn't say like disappointment, but missed opportunity or not getting that next big job or something like that. Like not
Mhm.
taking that big step like career wise. Anytime that like is either postponed or doesn't happen, it's very discouraging when it happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's not always the best thing to go through, but I try to think that like my family and my friends, including you guys, are always been very supportive of everything that I've done. And I went to school for too long to pursue something that I enjoy and that I want to do. And I'm actually my mom has been she's been a big proponent in saying stuff. Not only for me moving out of state, she's her saying was like you can always move back. Like there's always like a chance you can always come back, but you can't like you never know what's going to happen if you don't take a certain opportunity.
True.
Um, so I kind of took that mentality when taking this stuff or when taking this job out here, but also in the sense of you never know what's going to happen. Like just because you get discouraged, you never know what could have happened if you kept going. Like that next job, that big job that you're waiting for, you're wanting, could be right around the corner when you're trying to work hard for something.
Mhm.
And so I've been trying to take that mentality of like being the Lego block mentality of trying to build myself back up and trying to remind myself and really be confident that I went to school for stuff. I know things like
Yeah.
I'm smart, I'm knowledgeable, I have experience, I worked with different people, and try and carry that um, into like an everyday like mantra or like a thought process for myself. So um,
Nice.
yeah, so I'd like to say Lego blocks, but I like to hear I like to see what Nightmare has to say.
Yeah. I think if I'm being honest with myself, I'm more silly putty right now.
That's
I
fine.
definitely I'm definitely stuck. Not
What
stuck in
can
the.
you, as you're explaining because to me, like silly putty, what does that mean
Yeah.
to you too?
Like as the way Goichi explained it, I get kind of stuck in my ways, and I get stuck in situations that I find comfortable,
Mhm.
and I I don't step out of the box a lot for various reasons. But I'm trying to be more Lego block. I have Lego block moments
Yeah.
where I step into uncomfortable situations and uh, make myself comfortable again. Um, Probably the most notable recent one, other than starting this podcast with you guys
Mhm.
and running the equipment. But when I got let go from my last job, uh, I I was unemployed and I was just applying to any kind of job and getting a job in an industry that I didn't know anything about it. I didn't. They just said, hey, we have a job. We're interested in you, and it's not permanent. It's a temp job. Uh, this isn't a guarantee. Just work and show us. There's a couple spots open. If we keep you, we keep you. If you're gone, you're gone. And I worked my butt off, and I buried myself in the guidelines and SOPs, and I got the job, and that's
Nice.
where I am now. And I'm gonna need to do a Lego block move or Lego block step here soon, figuring out what my next step in life is. If it's staying here, hopefully, moving out of state and finding something new in a place where I'm more comfortable um, as a person, but uncomfortable as a new situation. So that's for me as a person. I'm more silly putty, but I have that Lego block mentality in me that
And you have the foundation, man, because
yeah,
you've already started
yeah.
it.
And again, having my best friends is like a huge being able to bounce stuff off you and talk
Yeah.
to you about anything and not being able or not feeling judged about it is a really good is a really big privilege that I feel like I have. But if to answer the question, I definitely kind of set in my ways, but I have the Lego block mentality when it's absolutely necessary, and I'm trying to make it more more consistent
That's cool, man.
of a mentality. Kick it over to Beef, I guess.
Yeah, so I think I was kind of, as Goichi was explaining this, I have it kind of split into three areas of my life. When it comes to my mind, I think my mind is the hardest to rebuild. Just I want to go over these three things first before I go into each one because I think it kind of matters. But when it comes to things like work, I'm very like machine like where I don't. It's just go 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 go, and then I refine the system as I'm going. So a lot of the times I don't like. I was reading something that Elon Musk said is that like a lot of times you only need like 40% of the information to make a decision, and then just go. And I thought about my how I do things a lot of the times, and I usually probably wait a little bit more, but a lot of times that's kind of how I go. I just throw kind of shit at the wall, and I don't. I used to be afraid to fail all the time, and then I got to a point where like it just didn't matter to me anymore. Where I was just like I don't care what anyone really thinks of me. So it's like in my mind I don't know how to define what a failure really is. Because like everyone's got their own subjective definition of that. So like for me, like I almost think that when it comes to the way I work, including this podcast or the way I work at, I was about to say our company, at our where I work with Goichi and at the IT company at our IT company, I just think I just go like I don't know if it's really blocks and I don't know if it's silly putty. I don't know if I really like. I'm more of like I'll just do it and then I develop a process behind it. Do it, develop process, and I literally kind of look at it as like bowling. Like I'll hit every I'll bounce the ball off of every like I'll literally hit the gutter or I'll bounce off of those thingies that pop up
Bumpers.
or bumpers. Yeah, those thingies, bumpers. Yeah, bumpers
Silly putty, Legos, or Hot Wheels.
or Hot Wheels. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how explain
Because
Hot
you're
Wheels?
just like you're just going for it. You're just building
going
it.
for
You're
it.
just building. You're putting tracks down.
We're
just going for it.
Yeah, maybe that has to do with it
I
too.
don't know, I'm
Like
just
how
thinking about stuff.
yeah, just throwing out that
Yeah.
yeah, because I feel like I'm split. It depends on what area, because what's worked there has not worked with my mind. So, like as I've gotten older, my mind, like I'll get to a certain spot and then like my mind collapses because I feel like there's this like built up pressure all the time. And because of that built up pressure, like I constantly like my mind doesn't stop thinking half the time. So like pretty much I feel like I only even when I'm sleeping, my mind doesn't shut down. So it just keeps going and going and going. And so, which isn't a bad thing, but I think it comes out of like a huge loss of happiness sometimes because like when your mind just runs all that time, you just don't rest. So like, yeah, like a lot of people like I've gone to therapy to try to like fix that, um, but I've been doing it for 30 years that it's almost impossible to stop at this point. And so like that, my mind's like that because I was, what I just said about throwing kind of just go and then I'll define the process or refine the process, go, refine the process. Because like when I played baseball, it was, I'd go up there, swing, I'd suck. Swing, I'd suck. I did that wrong. 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 I did that. And that's all I would think about. Did that wrong. Did that wrong. Did that wrong. And in my work life, I did that wrong. I did that wrong. I did that wrong. And that's literally all I think about every day until it's like good, right? And I do that in the podcast too. It's like did that wrong. Did that wrong. Did that wrong. Did that wrong. And then eventually it's starts to everybody's like, oh my god, look how good that looks. Not saying like I'm trying to toot my own horn, but that's kind of how I think you have to think is to be like really good at something is or to like pursue is like you have to be like bam 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 and but then you live in this constant like negativity. It's not I don't know if it's negative, but it's this constant like you live in failure the whole time until you start to see success. But even then the success isn't good enough anymore because you're constantly in the state of mind of failure. But with work that's fine. With your mind it's not. It's unacceptable because you'll never be happy. So I'm learning to kind of I guess Lego block in my personal life in my mind because it takes a Lego block to realize like, and maybe it's silly putty too because I'm it's a combination. I think it's a combination, but it's like maybe like but a lot of it you have to build it up. Like I have to learn how to build this happiness and learn to be content with kind of just my mind, like my acceptance of myself. Like so it's like I've never been able to do that with anything in my life. And so when it comes to work, it's amplified with that go go go, but then I have to switch gears and I'm back into those Lego blocks. And I've never had. I mean, I've been fired from a job. I've gotten I've had situation like when I was younger. I had situations that weren't too good that happened to me, but um, I've never really had it. Like I've never been down and out, so I can't even speak to like what truly a
You never had a lowest moment in your life?
yeah, like I can't, and I'm very grateful for that. I think I'm not sure if I look at it that way. Like the only one I could think of was I got fired from a valet for bumping hydraulics, and I just remember the only reason why I consider that a low moment was because I felt disgrace to my dad and like my mom, and it was like they raised me better than that. But it had nothing to do with like again like I had a roof over my head and all these things. Like I didn't
Yeah.
a lot of people like have it a lot worse than I am. So I have friends that do. I have family that do. That's a Tim McGraw song, but he says that it's called as much as maybe I know we don't have. I know you guys aren't big country fans, but the song's called It's called Friends That Do, and it's like it's pretty much implying that the song's implying that anything in life he doesn't have to deal with people like doing heroin or sending his son to die for die in war, or he didn't deal with all these problems because he had people or he pretty much didn't live in these bad moments because he had people in his life that supported him, and like kept him. And so I guess like I have to, my not to sound cliche, but my family and my friends have kept it where my lowest point is that. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I guess there were self-inflicted bad moments, and I could see those. But yeah, like if I think that the funny part is like what comes easier to me in life. I think it's switch. I think a lot of people deal with their mind. It's not easy to their mind. Like people aren't half the time like don't want to talk about the stuff that they struggle with in their mind, or like they're in denial.
Or they don't want to expose themselves.
Yeah, it's like even thinking about yourself. Like half the battle really is like I suck at this. Like it's really that, and being okay because it's like we're human. It's like
I think that's why it's okay for me is like I've grown up being the stupid kid. Like I don't want to classify anyone, but like I was literally the kid in class that had like issues like doing anything in class. Like I get made fun of at a young age, and luckily my parents took care of me, and I was hungry like to not be that kid, like that can't read or struggled writing his name. I don't know if that was like really my problem, but I definitely had like a learning disability, and I overcame that with like tutoring, working hard in school, and I'm still like I'll say now, you put me in a classroom, like I'm not a good student. Like I have like an attention disorder. I'm not good at taking tests, but I'll tell you what, I'll work my ass off to try and get a B on that fucking test. So I think that's where it comes from for me is like I've never really been a winner. I've always had to work hard to try and be a winner. Even in hockey, like my brother and I were talking about it last weekend where he was telling, he's talking to we were talking to our younger sister and over dinner, and he was telling her about like how, I would work my ass off in the backyard and practice all the time because like I wanted to be great, and he's like, and for him, he just didn't care. Like he just didn't care if he was good or not. And he's like, that's, one thing that where we're different, where I was always, nothing came easy to me, but my brother was always gifted with like being intelligent or being skillful in sports. And that's why he never really had to work hard, otherwise he'd be amazing. That's why, like, in a sense, I always envy people with talents. Like, Nightmare, you have natural talents in a lot of things, and I envy you in that. And
Thanks.
I look at it as a special power. Like you have a special power within you, but if you don't embrace that, even in moments of failure of that power, you'll never see what greatness you have in you.
Yeah,
Because you have a lot of great power in you, but you got to persevere and keep fighting. And whatever you want, whatever brings you happiness, right? But I know in moments of darkness, like when you fail at something, you're hard on yourself. But at the end of the day, you have to think about all the times you were great at that moment, or whatever you do,
Yeah.
and then how great you could be past that. Because like when I look at you, I look at someone like for myself, right? I have to, like, just taking golf for example, right? I have to work my ass off just to get below your guys' level of like just being decent, right? And to see like if you have one bad game and like you let that destroy your spirit, man, like I ain't about that. Like I think you're way better than that. Like everyone has their days, right? But what makes the great people great are the people who always continue to work on their craft.
Yeah.
Whether you're good or not. Because I believe that in me. Like if I find my craft and I continue to work on it, like I can be better than the great people who are just naturally gifted, right? I see Beef as like, I mean, you're like you embody the image of Barry Allen, the Flash, in my eyes, because like he is a wholesome, at least like from what I've read in comics and seen in the TV show, like he's such a good person, works his ass off, and he never thinks about himself. He's always thinking of how can he take care of the people around him, and
Thanks, man.
like that's exactly how I think of you. So yeah, that's what I would
He's
say
got
to you
that.
guys.
He's got that grind mentality that
Yeah, right.
yeah.
And he's always going, 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 and he
Mhm.
never stops to like just like enjoy his life for himself. He's always caring about
Yeah.
others.
Yeah,
And that's the way I
I
see
kind
this
of
guy.
wish I
And he
could.
lives two different entities.
Yeah, that's what we talked.
Right?
That's what he was
Yeah.
talking about. Like
So
his mind, like he's, you know,
Yeah, it
we
comes
talked
at like a
about it.
great cost
It's a
almost.
double-edged sword kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like I wish like as sad like well actually I won't. Never mind. I'll say this in private because I don't want to say this in front. But yeah, I'm not gonna even say it. But yeah, but being able to yeah, I'll say it later to when we're not in this podcast. But yeah, it comes at like a great cost. I feel like sometimes because it's like it like never because that's kind of like how it can impact like a relationship too because like you know how I treat others too, you know.
hmm
And so it's a lot of times like
you should definitely watch The Flash on CW.
yeah, I know you're a big you showed me the one where they mix together too, the
I don't care for the crossovers. I just think the storyline of him and his relationship with his wife, it can really resonate with you. I think in a lot of ways. Plus, like just how genuinely good that guy is. Like honestly, he's like the typical guy next door that would take your girl because he's not a slime bag in that way, but he's such a pure, good-looking soul. Like, like it's like one of those things. Like he does right by, you know, just doing right for everyone else but himself. At the end of the day, he's his own worst enemy. It's crazy.
yeah, that's how it
So
feels. Like that's actually really good. That kind of sums up my mind is like I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to um like letting myself just be okay, you know?
hmm
Like in therapy, like the biggest discussion point is like just to relax. Like
Yeah.
she asked me, he's like, did you relax this week? And like I had to like write down when I actually felt
I
relaxed.
think she needs to be a little more blunt with you.
Yeah.
So Max, today, or I'm sorry, Beef, today, I fucked that up. So Beef, today, what
Yeah,
didn't
Beef.
you give a fuck about? That's what she should really ask. Like, what didn't you give a fuck about? Did you not give a
That's the
fuck
real
about work?
elephant.
Did you not give a fuck about this, like, guy you ran into at the market that was a complete douchebag? What didn't you give a fuck about and you just brushed it off? Tell me about that scenario, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think that would help you too, because I still, till this day, struggle with that. But I'll never forget all the people on my old job when I worked at a certain company, and it was a dark time for me. I will never forget. People always told me, just stop caring so much. And I could not comprehend that when I work a job. Because when I work a job, I have to care because I want to keep my job, right? I want to do well.
Yeah.
And they told me, my brother tells me this all the time. Kudos to my brother. He's like, you can care, but just don't care so much to where it's affecting you personally and mentally. And I was like, fuck. As soon as I stopped doing that, I stopped letting the job affect me personally and physically. Like it still takes me time to do that. I still have my moments, but when I stopped really giving a fuck and stopped working in fear, man, it changed my life. It definitely changed my life. Like I'd probably be dead right now with a heart attack or a stroke. Like I for sure would be dead the way I stressed as a kid. I told you guys, I was the what if kid. That's why we have that segment. Everyone would call me the what if kid because I would always worry about what if this happened, what if that happened, instead of just going with the flow, you know.
Yeah.
So
I'm that now.
I kind of like when I'm out. It's funny you said like that. Pretty much hits on the head. Where when I'm out, I guess like how I see it is like a lot of times where people rub me wrong, where they're just not being respectful of others, and like I think like that's kind of how it's like. Mine is always be like, hey, be respectful when you're in public. When I go to Ralph's or we go to Costco, try to be respectful, and I feel like that's what's kind of sucky about where it's like you don't see that in people a lot of times,
it's tough, man, because
Yeah.
sometimes you're most of the time I would say you're definitely in the right when you speak your mind or you like chime in. That's why like most of the time, like maybe there's times where I don't do that, but there will be times where I'll either back you or I'll just let you go because I know what you're doing. It's the right thing to do, but it takes a brave person to do that and a bold person. Because at the end of the day, you could be doing something right, and let's say like you're trying to be protective of a victim in a sense, right? And like sometimes the way you can come off to someone else, and when you get in an argument, that victim could think you're just as bad as that other person,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
pretty much what it is.
at the end of the day, what the fuck is the point, you know? Because now you're exerting yourself for this person who doesn't even appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot. I mean, as shitty as that sounds, like that's the world we live in, especially out here in Southern California, man. Like people are just shitty, you know,
Yeah.
and you literally have to learn to just pick and choose your battles, especially like when you're developing a family, you know, and it's not just you anymore. But man, it's hard because it's rare to come across people like you that will speak their mind, but in a positive manner for the right reasons, you know.
Thanks, man.
So yeah, don't ever let that fire go out in you. I'd say
Thanks,
because
buddy.
I'll support you till the end
Hell yeah.
of the world, man. So
Thanks,
I wish I
I
had
second
half. I wish I had half of that, of what you have. Just
yeah,
the-
it takes
the-
cojones
man.
because I don't have that cojones
Yeah.
to confront people like that all the time. So I mean, if he starts that fire, I'll throw in a little bit of wood,
Yeah,
you know,
kindling.
some,
yeah.
some gasoline, you know.
I help.
Fuel the fire, yeah. Fuel the fire. So
I think my wife has gotten me to like lessen down on that in a good way. So
yeah,
where it's
she's
like
more of a
yeah,
nurturing soul.
Yeah.
So that's good for you.
It's just like it's kind of what you said about your brother too. Like at the end of the day, it's not gonna really. Sometimes the way I look at it is at the end of the day, it's not gonna change. It may not even change that person.
Mm-hmm.
But if it impacts you, like where it ruins your day, like that's not
Exactly,
it's
man.
not worth it. But the way I look at it is like if someone does something that to me where I'm like, man, if they do that to the rest of the world,
Yeah.
like
I get
there are a
what you're
lot of
saying.
quiet people that won't say anything and they'll just take it and they'll take it. And it's like if we keep doing that to the people that really every day of their lives they just take it and they're
Yeah.
because they're nice people, respectful. Like when I stand up, sometimes it's selfishness. Like I'll stand up for myself and go at them or not go at them, but speak my mind to them. But a lot of the times it's like I'm setting them straight, like
Yeah.
because they'll remember that psychopath they met at the golf course or they met at the grocery store that
Or at
like
the restaurant, they're being shitty to servers.
yeah,
right?
and it's like I just set them
That
straight,
makes
and it's
sense.
like they'll remember the moment where they got checked, and then it changed how like I can just walk because those people are bad to me. They walk over people, you know, and
Of
like
course.
yeah, it's like
But just know, at the end of the day, you have this spirit in you, and you have this energy and light around you. Okay, and when you share that light, even if it's to put someone in their place, that's a waste of light sometimes. In a case, if it doesn't even resonate with them, doesn't change them, right? But it takes away your light too. Because like you're not affecting them, right? And that affects you. Because if they don't give a shit, that would affect me. I'd be like, you're still a piece of shit after I confront you. You know, I'm just trying to help you realize you're a shitty
Chipotle
person here.
lady. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying, man. Like some people just cannot be helped. You saw me. I went through everything I could to try and like
do you think
just
she
turn around.
didn't
Turn
park in-
around.
Do you think she's still parked in?
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
think
I
she's
think
some-
she's still a piece of shit.
Do you think she's still parked in a handicap spot?
Oh, definitely.
really?
I just think people like that, they can't be helped, and that's why I told her at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, I kept my volume down, which is surprising because normally I get into it. But with this girl, I think at the end of the day, I just told her I feel sorry for you, because for you to act like this in front of people in public, and then on top of that, you're taking a handicapped space, driving a Mustang car, okay, and like I went through a whole story about how my mom's handicapped, and you know, if you put that in perspective, and I was, you know, if it was someone that needed a handicap spot, really needed it, you know, like think about what you're doing there to that person versus you just being a lazy ass and you could have just parked in a spot a little further down, you know. And she got in this huge argument with me and Beef about it, you know. And at the end of the day, she wasn't willing to admit her mistakes. And those type of people will never change unless they take the extra step to make that change for themselves.
Yeah.
You can bring it to their attention all day, but if that person has no willpower to change or they have a pride problem, they're never going to change.
Yeah.
I had a pride problem when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. I probably still do to some extent, right? But I had a really bad pride problem when I was a kid going into college, high school to college, and I had a chip on my shoulder. I thought I was invincible. I thought, you know, I could talk the talk, walk the walk, and just shit on everybody. I just thought I was the man, right? And I got humbled in college, man. I got real humbled, and I realized the world does not revolve around me. And there will be a day when I challenge someone, and he's going to beat my ass. And I don't want that day to come. You know, and it took my friends and family to make me realize that, and for me to be humbled to realize like, okay, I need to cut that shit out. Like Goichi cannot just like go around being angry at the world and challenging people, because that's what I would do when I was at my job in downtown LA. I'll never forget there was a couple incidents actually where I almost got in fights and in the company, but Neither here or there now, but there were moments where I was so frustrated at work. I'd have to take a walk in downtown LA, right? And it's like late at night because I work graveyard shift. I would mad dog like anyone on the streets, anyone. And this is so stupid, right? But I was so angry with my life, my situation, that I would go outside looking for a fight. Like I'd start talking shit. I'd look people in the eye and start mad. Yeah, it was stupid. And I look back at that and I'm just like, thank God nothing happened to me, right? But it's
Especially in LA.
it's like those moments that make me reflect and be like, at the end of the day, it ain't worth it. You know, it's just not. It's not worth it to let other people drive your unhappiness, and it's not worth it to like waste your energy on people who don't give a shit about others. You know.
Yeah, I wish I was a fly on the wall, watching you ream that chicken at Chipotle.
So we have some friends. Oh, not the Chipotle one, but the fighting one. Yeah, we have some friends that can tell you that story from a third person perspective.
Yeah.
My brother was there. Like he had a box of popcorn. He was just waiting because he knew what was going to come on my end if one of the coworkers like laid a hand on me. It was a heated moment. And what's the worst part of that story was I was standing up for people in our company that were afraid to speak up. Does that sound like someone?
Yeah.
And I almost lost my job over that. And no one stood up for me. Like, no one had my back. I was sticking up for these engineer guys, and they said nothing. They stayed quiet. And I made a case for them, and I voiced my opinion about what the company was doing to them. And I got in a heated battle with, like, another employee. And, like, I almost lost my job over it. And it had nothing to do with me. But I felt like it was wrong what they were doing. And I didn't appreciate it. And I was trying to speak my mind. But like he said too, you have those family and friends that keep you, safe in their corner. And if it wasn't for one of my friends taking me out of that situation, I don't even know where I'd be today as far as a career, right? So
stuff like that just goes so underappreciated, like loyalty and sticking up for
sure,
your, people that you don't have to, especially.
Yeah, definitely. So
Definitely,
that was good stories, man.
Yeah, that was some good stories.
That was good. I learned a lot about Goichi on that one.
Yeah, I want to be around when
this
Goichi
guy
gets
knows
fired.
a lot about me now, but I'll tell you this: when we first started a job and we didn't really know each other personally, right? He like would see me outside of work and then at hockey games, and he's like, "Who the hell are you?" Like I was a totally different person, but yeah, work etiquette, baby.
It is what it is.
All right, boys. Well, we've got one last segment for tonight. This last segment is called Island Choice. So we've got some options here how to do it. So how we're going to do it tonight is we've got 3 different parts. We've got Saved, Stranded, and Final Stand. So what I want to hear tonight is I want to hear everybody's final stand. So what the final stand is, this can be TV show, movie, people, books, games. I don't know. Somebody's speech on cassette, whatever you want it to be, whatever media platform you want it to be. And this is going to be something that you can listen to, you could watch, you could read, you could do one more time for the rest of your life. You only get to do it one more time, and then it's retired. You don't get to do it anymore. So I'd like to hear.
So I just want to clarify, because so when you say are we doing the stranded? The stranded is one more time. What were the 3 that we chose? It was stranded.
Saved,
Stranded,
Final Stand.
Okay, Final Stand is one more time, right?
Correct.
Are we doing it that way, or are we just doing a one island choice?
I was thinking we were just gonna do the final. We're gonna do the final stand and explain why tonight.
So this is Final Stand is one more time we get to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you only get to do it. You only get to do it one more time.
So
whether it's reading, whether it's like reading a book, watching a movie, playing a game, whatever it is, you get to do it one more time for the rest of your
life. And to clarify, it has to be something we like to do, because there's a lot of things.
So like if we haven't had sex with this specific celebrity,
you can't say pay taxes and then just be like, oh cool, I'm done paying taxes for the rest of my life. So
that's a good one.
Wait,
that
was the best one.
Yeah, wait, like to do or like enjoy? Like does it to what degree? Like it can't be something that's negative. Like can it be?
Something that's positive, something that you enjoy, something that you enjoy.
TV show, books, movies, people.
Can it be subjectively good to someone else?
Yeah,
like
yes.
I personally like I could take it or leave it, like final stand, but like someone else like really enjoys it. Like could I do it?
That's totally.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
That's,
Then I have
that's
one.
like hobbies, right?
Yeah.
Like some people may
All
not
right.
like that hobby.
I was
You're
gonna.
not
I was
gonna
planning.
like
I was
taxes.
planning on
That's
going
my
first.
favorite hobby.
Yeah. You're not gonna like my answer, but go ahead. Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
All right, no, I was planning on going first because I figured for this one in general, much like myself in like previous ones, like I definitely was like, shit, just give me like 30 seconds to think about it. Um, and I definitely stole, especially when we had our episode. Was it 2 weeks ago now? Obviously, I stole big time with the with the Jurassic Park references on everything.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah, yeah, on the What If remix, and everything had to be dinosaur related.
Clever girl.
So for me, my one, if I had to do if I could do something one more time, and then just be retired, it doesn't really happen.
It's What If
As-
remix.
Yeah,
Like never do it again.
that would have been really good.
Yeah.
But I started writing some stuff down, and I like picked something as like I started thinking back to elementary school, and Goichi was talking about with kickball earlier. It's not kickball, but it's a game that we haven't that I don't really get to play as an adult because you're not going to get adults together for this. But I miss dodgeball. And like, so I would love to play like the old dodgeball game, like whether it's like the dodgeball from the movie where you like you catch it, you're out, or like the dodgeball that we used to play where if you like if you got out, you like ran behind the other team, and then you could just like everyone was like throwing from front and behind. I actually really like that version a lot because
Can you say that again?
so like if you're playing dodgeball like on a
Front or
basketball
behind?
court, yeah.
Nation ball is the word you're looking for.
Oh, is that what this is? Is that what this is called? Nation Ball?
Yep.
Well, yeah, because Nation Ball to me is a little bit different, but dodgeball is like when you watch the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
okay,
So
so
what's
the
Nation
next thing,
Ball?
Nation
Yeah.
ball is when they're
Behind
they're
you.
behind you.
Yeah, which
okay, so we
Oh,
used to
okay,
call,
okay.
Coach
call
was
it
like he
dodgeball.
got a little animated in that part.
Yeah.
Are you sure
So
we're still
okay,
talking
so
about Nation
so
Ball?
I say Nation Ball or dodgeball because honestly, we played both at school,
True.
and
So
everyone
what
just
makes
called
me
it
bleed my own blood.
yeah. And then freaking Chuck Norris, you know, I don't want to let Chuck Norris decide anything, but we we used to play, and like honestly, I was typically pretty good because like I grew up playing baseball, so like I could throw pretty well, I could catch, I was kind of coordinated, but the one part I missed, this might be a little I mean, this might be terrible on my part, but the one part I miss is watching people just like get absolutely pelted in the face with the ball.
Yeah.
Wait.
So
So wait, what if this is you're gonna do it
You're
one
on
time?
an island
Yeah,
by
you're-
yourself.
Well, no. The thing is like
Wilson
Well-
will be there.
he's gonna
yeah.
gonna do
Imaginary
this.
ghost.
No, he's gonna.
I'd
do
like to.
this.
If I was gonna die on an island, I'd like to play dodgeball one more time, and then I can just rot away on the island.
Damn, that's
Yeah, but
sad.
what? So let's say you get your wish. You're on the
Mhm.
island, and then you get to play your dodgeball one last time, and you're out. You get out immediately, and you have to sit out. You don't even get to play.
Yeah.
Like Corey Perry.
He
Like
gets
when he
hit
scored in
immediately.
like 20 seconds.
He
like,
gets hit
it.
immediately, and he's out.
I was like, get out immediately. All of our team gets out except for one person, and then they start catching the ball again. It's like, oh, I can't even get back in the game, so
it's just torture.
I'm just
So-
stranded there.
Man,
So
you
you're
really
gonna
get
get
I-
punished for being the first out.
Honestly, I haven't played dodgeball or nation ball in forever, and when I was thinking, I was like trying to think of like games that like I would do, and aside from the fact that probably like Monopoly might also qualify for that, but I was just like, man, I miss dodgeball. Like, I miss throwing a ball at somebody and just like letting it hit them, as hard as I can. So
Interesting.
There's so many the way you've shaped this opposed to what I originally thought it was gonna be. Like now it like my mind is I don't know about you guys, it like totally threw my mind in left field now, where I'm trying to like come up with something.
Yeah.
Because when we originally talked, I was like, oh, I thought we were gonna do it based on like movies, and then G had mentioned about doing like TV shows, like systematic. Now it's like I'm trying to think of, and you went nostalgic in a way with the whole dodgeball nation ball situation.
But then he never
so.
plays it again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm hoping that I retire on top, you know.
you can still do
I hope.
a show or a movie or
Yeah. So I'll go
Yeah.
from here.
Yeah, I can still be a thing.
So for me, either way, like Swiss Family Robinson scenario, I would totally like be stoked to be on an island, as long as there's like food and water, right? But I think it would be badass to live on an island, especially like if I had my wife there, just me, my wife, and my dog. Like we'd be set, we'd be fine.
in a house and running
I
water
mean, we'd
and a shower.
we'd have to build the house, the hut, but I think like it would be an interesting experience, and
bring in and
I
out.
wouldn't be against it. No, so mine would be, mine's going to be the TV show, and I think you guys already know what it's going to be. It's going to be The Office, and I think for me, even if it's just one last time, it's so good that by this time I've already watched it like a million times, but it's like the one TV show that's been so consistent for me that like it gives me all the feels as far as like drama, love, comedy, action. I mean, it's got everything that I need to like be satisfied and be like, I watched the full season and now I'm good. Like I had a couple cries, a couple laughs, a couple angry moments maybe, but at the end of the day, it fulfilled my needs and I can move on. So I
Question.
can collect coconuts after this.
Question.
Yeah.
Seasons 1 through 7 or the whole series?
I would have to watch the whole series because as painful as it was after Michael Scott left, it does come full circle. I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but I feel like it does come full circle. It's a bit cheesy, but it does come full circle. I'll say that.
He
So.
lost a lot of steam after they got
Oh,
married.
it lost every
when they
bit
got
of steam.
married. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
When they got married, it
was
was like
horrible.
you just started feeling like, whoa, this is like, it's like this. The show was literally built towards this moment, and then
Yeah.
it was like an epic moment too. It wasn't like. The way they got married was
The show
so
should
well
have
done.
just got started there,
Yeah,
man.
it's
It was
like-
building momentum for them,
I couldn't believe like how great that them getting married was, and then it was like after that you're just like, whoa, this is like, it's like the writers the next
was
day
weird.
were they didn't know it was so funny.
It was
but
heartbreaking for sure.
Yeah, but it was like the whole Jim, and you didn't realize how much Jim and Pam's like need to be together, or like Jim's want for her. Like you needed to fulfill that yourself and watch that.
Yeah.
And then once it was fulfilled, you're like, well, I feel full, and you're like, do I really need to watch the rest? Like yeah, it was like so subconscious because like you're whole laughing the whole time, but then what kept you driving was Jim's want for Pam.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, and then he got, they have that epic wedding, and then you're like, you feel content because Jim's a good guy that got his dream girl, and then you're just like, yeah, it's like I feel like.
Did you?
On the twist side for me, I was always rooting for Michael though. Like my thing was
with
like
Holly.
just like with his sales background and then being a manager and his passion, like I wanted him.
I
to be
identify
happy.
with him.
Yeah.
I do,
Yeah.
because he's weird and quirky, and like he's kind of like the underdog, but he perseveres. Like he has this connection with people. Like when he went to Chili's, dude,
Yeah, that's
and
yeah.
had that
was
business
thinking,
meeting,
yeah,
I was
that's-
like,
Yeah.
holy
Somewhat,
shit,
yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
Like I
And
fell in
Jan
love with
turned out to
Michael.
be a psycho.
But like that's what I loved about him, like he just had this like happy-go-lucky, aspect about him. But like my main theme for him was like I wanted him to make it, or I really wanted him to like have a family and have kids. Like that's what I mean. For me, it came full circle for Michael Scott, because like there's bits and pieces where they hint like he's phenomenal with kids. A
Yeah.
good example was when they brought their kids to Workday and Toby brought his. He hated Toby, right?
Mhm.
But the daughter really connected with him. Toby's
Yeah.
daughter. So I just
He's-
thought that was really cool.
He's really good with kids. He's gonna pay for those kids' college.
Yeah.
And-
oh
my God.
oh
Such a
my god, that
cringe,
was so. Yeah, that's cringy,
Yeah,
man.
it was so hard to watch that one.
God, did you guys ever?
I didn't
see
even want
the-
to watch it. I wanted. It was one of those moments you want to fast forward
They
through.
do like a marching band. and
Yeah.
everything.
Did you guys?
Oh my
Did
God.
you guys ever watch The British Office? Just
I
curious.
have given it a try. It's just
Too-
not my cup of tea.
Too dry, huh?
Well, I think it's just because it's not my sense of humor.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I haven't really watched it.
I asked because when you were talking about how like, they lost steam when Jim and Pam got married. They ended The British Office, I think, right as the Jim character was gonna really go after the Pam character, which is like, and I think that they just ended it. The studio just ended it, like they didn't keep it going, but like that's when The British Office was ended. And so that's kind of like, it kind of like lines up with the American Office, where like kind of like, okay, now they're together, like now we're in uncharted waters. We don't have any previous things to go off of.
I agree with Beef too. Like the writers definitely seem like they lost steam after that, and then probably the cast too. Like definitely Michael Scott. Like I felt like he kind of lost passion in the show because he wanted to venture off and do other things, right? Do movies and stuff. So
Okay, sorry to just as another kind of like tangent. Who's your favorite side character
in the Office.
In Office, yeah.
Man,
I
that's
really
a
wanna know.
tough one.
I like that.
Creed Bratton.
That's my favorite.
Who is it?
Creed Bratton.
I like
Yeah.
Dwight.
Yeah. There's the character I most identify with is there's the accounting department. What's his name?
Ryan? No.
No, not Ryan. It's the because it's
Oh,
Dwight's-
Kevin?
Oscar?
Kevin. Yeah,
Oh,
Kevin. I really like identify with Kevin a lot.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like because there's so much stuff where like he gets like these like it's weird. He gets enjoyment out of like these.
How
these
many
little
M&Ms
things.
can you put in your mouth?
Yeah, it's like that, and then the whole like the whole like how he takes pride in his chili, and like I know he drops it, but like that whole thing where he gets so you don't see him get excited for everything. The other guy that does this is Stanley. Stanley's the other guy where like Stanley will not move.
Pretzel Day?
Yeah, it's like, but there's just things like he's just straight serious.
Yeah.
Like just bring. And I feel like as I get older, it's so hard to enjoy certain things.
Yeah.
So you get desensitized from it. So you're like it's amazing when you get that little joy, like a kid like joy. And so I felt like I identified with that a lot. I was like, oh man, like
That's a good one.
yeah, especially Stanley too, because like nothing got him moving. But like the pretzel day is a good example, or like if something mattered to him, like
Going home early.
going
25 push-ups.
Dude, what a beast, man. I love his animated faces too.
I love that Oscar is like, you know how like that story of when like a car falls on a baby and the mother lifts the car
Oh,
up?
yeah, yeah.
That's basically what we have going on. Coach, real quick,
Oh,
what
that was so
favorite
good.
side character of The Office? Just real quick. Creed Bratton. You said Bratton, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think
Creed's,
that he's just so crazy, and I love like the random stuff that he says, and like his little like side stories. Honestly, just like make it for me because I'm like I couldn't come up with half that if I tried.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be some weird story about how he got picked on that show too. I don't know what it is, but I know there's a weird story about him.
Yeah, there's a thing about he's like that episode. I think it's a Christmas episode where they're singing karaoke, and he's singing some song that he was the band of.
Oh yeah,
in like the 70s.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
I'm gonna get us back on the island choice because I have my answer.
All right, let's hear it.
I would just get super baked and smoke a bunch of weed, and then I'd be done with it. I've always like I've felt it a few times. I haven't really gotten like super high, but like if I got super high and went through the whole thing, I feel like I'd be okay, not like just that was my last hurrah, and I'd be on my island.
You know what's the sad part of that is even if you're on the island, you probably still think you weren't super high because it's about the crowd you surround yourself with.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Talk about going off on a high note.
Yeah.
Because you could be like, am I seeing mirages?
I get it. I get
Is
it.
the heat getting to me? Am I having cabin fever?
Yeah, get super paranoid, and it's not even enjoyable.
Is the island
Yeah.
rotating?
Oh god, is the island
Coconuts are attacking me.
is the island connected to the earth? Am I going back to the land?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
sailing,
That's interesting. That's an
going
interesting answer.
Yeah, I just get super baked, and then I put it down.
And you definitely don't.
I do like that. I do like that take. I like
Nope.
that's a good take.
Hey, this is all hypothetical, by the way.
Yeah.
Of course.
Drugs are bad. Okay.
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 Is the
Beef. How about yourself?
Is the assumption that we can still eat, or we're just eating island food like bananas?
No. You can eat whatever, but it's your last time eating it.
But
forever.
like once we're done, but like I mean like what? So we're on this island, right? And then like we would eat like bananas and stuff, right? Or fish.
Well, if that was your last thing to eat, you ain't eating bananas no more.
So I would do the barbecue that I had at Austin. It was Terry Black's, I think is the name. So anybody at home, but Terry Black's barbecue. I would have
They better comp your meals. Next
Sponsorship.
Yeah, I like the brisket, the beef ribs, the mac and cheese, the potato salad, the cornbread, the banana pudding, the
This is a
the mac and
non-sponsored
cheese.
ad, by the
Was
way.
there anything-
He's got the menu right here.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
is
it's
the
like-
list of things you didn't eat shorter, or
And I'd say like I would even add to like because the things I didn't try like there was like turkey, there was like a turkey, and there's other parts of the cow that were there too. And it's like I think because I told Nightmare before this, I was like you think about like what's the best meal you've ever had, and it's like I just had that like recently. And you talk about the Stanley and oh my god, I blanked on his name again.
Creed?
No,
Kevin?
Yeah, the Kevin moments where you get this like a little enjoyment out of things, and I got so much enjoyment. Like when I eat food, especially when it's really good, I just like there's this like there's this feeling that I get, and I know everybody probably feels that, and everyone's like, oh, I know that, but there's this moment where I'm like lost in eating when I'll eat something, especially when it's really good food, and that did it all for me, and I've never had like again that'd be my last stand. Like
Did you eat mostly with your hands? That's what I'm curious about.
I did.
Then that
Yeah.
means it was damn
Nah.
good.
Yeah, it's the
Did you
well,
lick your fingers?
Yeah.
I did, and then some of the stuff I had to eat with a fork. We were
Yeah.
actually with a realtor, so I was like trying to be, and it was actually weird because we had the way you order is like it's one of those places where like you order the food and then it's like cafeteria style.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, that's interesting.
so we were sitting outside, and the place is like always packed. So the line wraps all throughout the door, but the way we're sitting is like kind of where we're sitting right now, and the line wraps around you.
Damn, that's
So,
like
like-
something out of Disneyland or something.
Well, people are watching me eat,
Yeah.
and they're like, and the
Oh,
realtor,
oh dear God.
the
like
realtor,
I gotta get me some of that?
yeah, like the realtor was like watching me, and
I love how you eat.
yeah, he was just like, because I was sitting there, and man, every bite, especially the beef ribs, I mean, every single part was good. It was but the beef was just like like those ribs were just out of this world, and people, I didn't even pay attention. It became like grayed out, but I know my wife was like really like self-conscious about that. But there was
You
a
got
part where
tunnel vision.
we ran out of napkins, where I started wiping it on my shorts, and it didn't stop me from going. But
Oh my god.
but yeah,
Classic.
last
the food was
stand,
so
yeah.
good that you got
Classic
tunnel
food.
vision.
Yeah, it honestly like I really wish it lasted a lot longer than it did, if I could say that. Like I ate too fast.
Like you could sit down and just enjoy it. Right?
Yeah, just like
with like the birds just chirping in the
yeah,
back.
just like hours of like
Yeah.
like just and that was the one thing where we were kind of, not that we were rushed or anything, but I just like got into this food, and I was like, I need to try this next thing, and then I was just, after a while I was like,
Yeah.
I womped it all down, and then what was funny is like my wife and I, we got back to our hotel room, and the realtor said take the like the to go stuff, and man, like like I said, I didn't eat for another couple meals,
Yeah.
but like I didn't want that to go to waste. Like we didn't have a fridge or anything, and so
Yeah.
there was a lot left, and I went like, it was like maybe 4 hours later, my stomach was killing me, and
Yeah.
I'm just literally, and we
Oh
didn't have
my
we didn't
God.
have oh, that was another thing, we didn't we didn't have silverware, or
Yeah. Yeah.
we were at a really nasty hotel, like where it didn't have it either, and so we didn't have any like forks or anything.
I've been there.
So I was just like, it was actually a mistake. So Hotel Tonight rated this thing like at 90%, and like everything was saying like 4.5 out of 5. And so I was like, this looks like a good, and even the pictures were good. We get there, and it was like, I've never felt so like swindled in my
Yeah.
life. Like I looked at my wife, and I told her I apologize, because if it was one of you guys like going
Yeah.
there, I would have been like,
We'll
we
just
can
rough it.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
yeah. But it was like my wife, like we looked at the bathroom, and I was like, I am so sorry that I'm putting you through this, but yeah, I had to the food I was just eating, and I was
Were the
kind of
pictures
in
like
pain.
were the pictures like deceptive or like?
Yeah, pictures were deceptive, and then even the ratings, like it had like over 1,000 reviews of
Bots.
9.5. I guess, but like it was on different sites too. It was like, because I usually don't just assume one, but yeah, I was like, I looked, and when we got there to the outside of it, I was like, I swear this isn't it. I swear this
That's
isn't
bad.
it. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I was like, no way. And then this is how it started out. Was my wife and I walked into the room, and it was like someone had been smoking in it,
Oh my god.
and so we switched rooms.
Wait, cigarettes?
Yeah,
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
even worse.
it was
Yeah.
so
'Cause
bad.
that
where,
shit lingers and stays.
Well, it was so bad where I was like, I looked at her, I was like, I can take this. Can you? And she's like, no. So we switched
yeah, I don't
rooms,
blame her.
and then the fire alarm turned on when we had left. So
Oh
they went in
my
our room,
god.
and the people that were in the front desk, like, we just had this weird feeling, like, so we actually took our all our our laptops and stuff with us every time we went out.
Yeah.
Because we were just like they could take our clothes.
That's
and
an
stuff,
interesting scenario, though. I've never even thought about that. Like, if the fire alarm randomly goes off, they will go in your room.
They did, yeah. And
I
so,
didn't think
well,
about that.
she told. Well, what happened? That's the other thing. That the whole what happened is the key card wouldn't go through, right? So I thought I effed up with the magnetic strip.
Uh-huh.
Like I put it to my phone or something, and so I thought I messed up. So I go in, she remagnetizes it or whatever it's called, and she told me that happened. So I was like, okay. Every single time we had to go back in that room, the magnet didn't, like, I had to go take it to remagnetize it.
Oh my god.
And this lady was the sweetest lady ever, but she had one tooth.
Oh no.
Yeah, she had one. I'm not making stuff. You can check
Was
with
it-
my wife too. Like, ask her. Like, it was like she smiled, and she was I made her
Where
laugh.
did you guys stay?
I made her laugh, and she smiled, and I was like, man.
Was
I
it
like,
clean? Was it clean?
Her tooth?
Yeah.
It was alright.
It's one tooth. It better be clean.
Honestly,
You don't
she
have
had
to
one
put it
tooth.
there.
I don't.
I, like,
She just has one to look
yeah,
after.
I was like, and I couldn't believe
Yeah.
because her talking, the way she spoke, was interesting, and I actually I got firsthand view of I'll say it was a prejudice act. I'm not gonna say racist or anything, but I just said racist, but a prejudice act. So I had an emergency where I had to really go to the bathroom, and we'd been driving. We'd finally gotten to the hotel, and I told her the line to check in was like forever, like it was days, like it was a ton of people. So I finally get to the front, and I said, I've been holding this. I was like, I need to go. Like it was like straight diarrhea. Like I had to. It was after I had told you guys I had motion sickness.
Yeah.
So I had the motion sickness going on, but I also I had eaten a fish burrito for breakfast.
A fish burrito?
Yeah, at
Dude,
an
you're
airport.
daring.
Yeah,
At an
seriously.
airport.
At an airport.
Yeah. Well,
Jesus
LAX
Christ.
has good.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
just stick with carne asada, okay? You can get a
LAX
Cali burrito or carne asada. Don't fuck with the
So
chicken
the
or
Yelp
fish.
review said, but
I also like to live dangerously. But you know what they say, when in Rome.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
bold of you.
Yeah, it'll come full
That's
circle.
Wow.
So I'd gone in, and it was funny
Courageous.
as I come back out, and I literally just finished. She walked up, she opened the door, and it said out of order, like the bathroom, and there was this African American lady that was walking out, and she was kind of mean to her, to the front woman, and she's like, she'd been like saying like the way she's like talking to her, but then she's bitching about stuff, and then she finally says like, hey, I really need to go to the bathroom. And then the lady's like, it's out of order. And I was like, that's like the first prejudice thing where I was like, did that lady, maybe it was being nice, like, cause I was really respectful. Like, I don't know if it was respectful but I feel like the other lady was like, the one that was asking was nice enough to be able to go, like, she wasn't that rude where I would have still not prohibited somebody from using the restroom.
Yeah.
But like, she like, I could tell like she probably had so much joy when she taught, like, cause she, you know what I mean? You know those, like, when you're in those bad, I was thinking about the shitty jobs that I've been in where like I get to instill this little power that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go the extra
Yeah,
mile for
yeah,
you.
it's like yeah, exactly. Like you just sit there, or like there are times where if a person is really nice, like when I was at Ralph's, and hopefully I don't get sued for this, but like if the person was really nice, like if they were really cool, like there was one time where like, you know, when like this woman and this when people get different sandwiches, I put his or hers instead of putting their names or anything, and this girl, like, it was this girl and guy, and like this girl freaked out and thought it was the cute, like she's taking pictures, right? And it was like that. Then I had the next, literally the right after that was the reason why I brought that up is because I want to explain this guy, intro him, and he comes in and he's like the rudest person, one of the rudest people I've ever, still to this
Get that
day.
contrast.
And so I charged, like, he wanted all these add-ons that usually, like, if the person's really nice, I wouldn't
let it
charge
slide.
them for it. Yeah, I let them slide. And then, like, dude, I charged him shit for this sandwich. This is like a $15 sandwich by the time I was done with it. And I was like, but but I thought about, like, the little, I talked about that lady and the little power that you do when you have, like, you're working at, it doesn't matter what job it is. I mean, you're just sitting there and it's kind of petty.
You see
but-
the hope. You see the hope leave
Yeah,
their eyes.
Yeah, well, even if like for me, like when I get to like, if the person's kind of like, if I'm in a position to win no matter what, and then like it could be at my work right now, or it could be at Ralph's, or when I was at Angel Stadium, or any job, if you get those people where they're really rude and you get to make it where they don't get what they want, yeah, that's just like there's just like
That's ultimate satisfaction.
it is. There's something about it that, like, because I'll be nice to a certain point, but then when you get to just take it away from them, like, that ruined kind of their experience a little. Like I take pride in that a lot.
Yeah.
So
I would say any place you go that serves or provides any type of service, man, I have to say being nice up front like has paid off
Yeah,
so
for
big for
sure.
me in the past. Like
Yeah.
with them, like he said, like don't worry about it. Like they comp stuff, you know, they're fine with it. Or even when I just went to Vegas on Vegas vacation, there was a gentleman there, and he asked me like if I had a penny, and I would get like that way I wouldn't get 99 cents back or whatever. And I told him no, sorry, I don't have a penny. But like him and I were chatting it up while he was serving us. So I told him no. He ended up giving. He's like, don't worry about it, I got you, man. He ended up giving me a full dollar back, but he gave me like a lucky like dollar coin, and I still have it till this
Oh,
day.
that's
I'm
cool.
like,
nice.
this is gonna be my lucky coin now every
Yeah.
time I go to Vegas. So it was cool. He like
Yeah.
made my night memorable. I was
Going
like, man, he could have been total douchebag there.
going the extra mile for cool people or nice people and like respectful people, like it feels good.
Yeah.
And uh, just denying and just doing the bare minimum for people that are rude is real. It like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm hitting a, you know, I'm beating a dead horse, but it just feels so good.
It
We had,
does.
we had a friend. So I had a friend when I was at Ralph's, and they were out to get him, and he worked. I worked in the service deli, but this other friend worked in the front, like where you get your groceries or you go through your groceries, and he got an onion rings. And usually, what he does is he pays. Normally, he pays when he's done.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll go outside, then he'll bring back the barcode, scan it, and then pay. Normally,
Wow. That's pretty
right?
flexible.
Well, so like our manager was out to get him, and I remember her like running out to get him, and I was like, oh my god, and I was like, take a picture of it, and he took a picture, but like I wouldn't. I was thinking about the things I've done where, like, you know what I mean, like if it's a really good person you really like, and he was a really at the end of the day like he might have done some shady stuff, but like he was a good dude. Like
Yeah.
when it came to it, he sent me a picture and it had the barcode, and I punched it in. I paid.
So it looked like he paid for
I
it.
paid and I had the receipt, and she was like bringing him to the store. It's called the store director, and or that's what the Ralphs calls him, the top dude there. And they were, she was bringing him to it, and I was like, hey, he paid. Here's his receipt, and she like looked at me, and I had a good relationship with her too, and she's just chilling there, and even like people I've had the opportunity where like where you have the ability to tank them. You know what I mean? Where like there was a guy they I know this sounds really bad, but he would steal a lot out of the cash register, and I like we didn't have a good camera system at Ralph, so at that point in time, and I didn't say anything. I wouldn't say anything, and I just kind of let it be. Well, they could never get him on this, and it was amazing they got in the store. Dude, I shit you not. I get a call at like 7 in the morning from this guy, and I not from this guy, from my manager, and she's like, "Did you take?" And Ralph's, I don't know if they have them anymore, but they had these bomb baked potato things that they were like loaded, they're really good, like one of the best you ever had. And we would make them, and they sold like really well. And one was missing, and she's like, "Did you take it?" And she's like, I don't want to say the guy's name, but she's like, "Did he take it?" And I was like, I won't say like I was like, I'll just say I didn't take it. That's all I'll say. And she's like, "Did you see him take it?" And I said, "I'm not." I said, "I plead the fifth." I said, I don't know, and like even if I did know, I wouldn't say anything. And like I think about that, like good karma is like even with people where they might have been, because I look at like certain organizations like the ones I work for where they're just big companies, and it's like, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But like you
Yeah.
look out for those like people, like because they may not have been, like I look at we talk about the friends that do, going back to that conversation, and you talked about caring so much, right? Like with caring,
Yeah.
like that comes from, I feel like, family, like caring
Yeah.
about those things. But some people didn't have that, and you feel like if people get that little bit of help, that could send them in the right direction in life.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
like,
also
yeah.
didn't like being a snitch or being labeled as a snitch. So like at
Yeah, pretty
Sears
much.
when you know, the guys down in delivery or whatever, it's where they would take out the TVs, the laundries, to the washers and dryers to like the people's cars. They would just pull it up at pickup. Those guys downstairs, literally the whole crew, they approached me one time because I worked in electronics, and they wanted me to like help steal stuff, and I told them no. I said, and I also don't want to know what the fuck you guys are
Yeah,
doing,
seriously.
because
Yeah,
I know you
seriously.
guys
Yeah.
are doing something shady because our numbers don't make sense every night. I said, I'm not going to bring it to the attention, but I'm just going to, you guys just leave me the fuck out of it. That's
Yeah.
all I said. I said, I'm not going to snitch on you or nothing. I said, but I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. And I said, I don't want to be any part of this. Well, a couple weeks later, they all quit because they got caught. They got caught. Well, it started with iPods, and then I think I told you guys the story about
dude.
the TVs. They would put the TVs as if they were throwing them out in the dumpster, like the boxes, like they're just empty boxes, but they would put TVs in them instead, and they were throwing them in the dumpster, but at the angle that the camera was at, it looked like it was going in the dumpster, but they were just tossing it on the side of it, and someone was picking it up and looting them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so they didn't even get in trouble though, because they just quit.
Yeah.
So pretty nutty.
So I think the statute of limitations on potato theft are up. Did he steal that potato?
He ended up getting fired, but I don't remember.
It's inevitable.
It's actually funny. He lived where your parents lived, and I would drive him every night because
All the way out there?
yep, I would drop him off. It was kind of like I always felt
You
for
never
him,
came
like,
to say hi. That's interesting.
Actually, no. A lot of times I'd crash on the weekends.
Yeah.
I did work 32 hours there, like during high school, but I would crash on the weekends at your place. Yeah, during that.
Those are fun.
Yeah,
fun
that
times.
was kind of that's actually I think how it first started was, oh, I'm going to visit. I'm hanging out at a buddy's house, and then he's like, oh, where's you live? And then he's like, can you give me a ride? And then it like became this thing where
Man, you always. I feel like anywhere like you go at a workplace, like at a grocery store, or like even at Sears, I had someone like that too, because
Will
he
you
would take the
help him
bus.
out? Yeah.
but he was the one stealing everything from our department. His name was Richard, and he actually worked in electronics, right? So not only was the guys downstairs at delivery stealing shit, but one guy in our own fucking department, electronics, was stealing stuff too. Because we always thought he brought a backpack because he had to take the bus all the time for his shifts. So he always kept the backpack in like the manager's office. But it was like years later he finally got caught, and they fired him. It was even after like I quit. And I got word of it, like, from one of my buddies that was still working there. He's like, dude, Richard got fired. Like, he was stealing all this shit from us. I'm like, damn. And he never said a word. He was so quiet. I think out of, like, I've worked there for, like, a year and a half or something. I maybe had one conversation with them. That was it.
damn, that's ancient.
Guy was
then,
quiet. Quiet as fuck.
Maybe that's why Sears went under.
That's definitely not the only reason, but
Hundreds of Richards.
I have to say, though, whenever people came to Sears Electronics, like the TV department, they were always blown away because they never expected the level of service and knowledge that we had. We would actually have like internal training on TVs. Like, what's the next thing coming up? What are the specs and why is it beneficial versus this or that? And we learn about cameras, home theater systems. People don't know that about Sears. Like, they would, it would piss me off because I started off at a point where people would come use us as guinea pigs and then get it somewhere cheaper, right? So I ended up leveraging price matching. I found out Sears offered price matching. They just never told us. So I'd price match, and then you get another 10% of whatever the difference is. So if it's like a $100 difference from another store that I'm price matching, you get another $10 off. Saves you some tax or whatever, right? People ate that shit up all day long. It got so bad that like someone way up in corporate called down on our store specifically and said, this employee number, and it was my employee number, is using our price matching way too much where we're losing margins now. I didn't give a fuck because I was selling. I was making deals.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Were you getting commissions or anything?
Yeah, I was getting paid, so I didn't care. Like, who cares? I'm still winning the business.
Why?
But they cared because like I was price matching everything.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like if it's not advertised, then you can clearly tell that the employee's saying something.
It's like that scene from The Incredibles.
I would literally walk the client. We'd walk to one of the computers available at our electronics store. I would literally surf the web with them. If they knew where it was, I would go to the website and price match it for them. And I would print that copy, use it as evidence, saying like this is the price they told me from the website. Picked it up, good to go. But if I don't sell, the main thing that Sears made all their money on was their warranties, right? So if I sold TVs, I'm still making commission, right? But if I don't sell warranties, Sears isn't really making anything now. So
it's like that scene from Incredibles, where Mr. Incredible's working for the insurance agency, and he's like helping out. Like they were gonna decline the lady's claim or whatever, but he's like, oh, but it kind of fits in this loophole or whatever, and he's like, don't go to this lady on this floor where they will definitely
pretty much
where they won't help you, and then she's
pretty much.
Yeah.
Because there would be even people like coming back as Sears customers, and they would pick certain sales reps because they knew we wouldn't give a shit. Like we would hook them up. So,
yeah.
And tape soccer ball in the microwave section. There'd be a wall of microwaves in Sears, and when it was dead, like the economy was dipping and everything, we made a huge like tape ball, soccer ball, and we try and open only certain microwaves on the wall, like high and low, and
Oh.
see who could kick it in the microwave. Right? It was good times at Sears, man. Good
Jeez.
times at Sears.
What's
We
up?
also had
Yeah.
porn
Wish they were still
on at
around.
late times. It would come on by accident, and we didn't realize.
Oops.
And then it forecasts like on all the TVs on the back too.
It's like that Bad Boys 2. When
Pretty
they
much.
Yeah.
When they're having that like intimate conversation. Yeah.
When you were riding
40-year-old
my ass.
virgin. If you don't take this Michael McDonald CD out of the TVs, I'm gonna come back, kill everyone in
Oh,
the store,
man.
and shoot myself.
I don't know if I'd ever go that far. Those videos were actually pretty nice.
Wait, which ones? The porno or the Michael McDonald DVD?
No, the Michael McDonald ones.
Man, those are good times.
Yeah.
But,
Hopefully Sears.
well,
survives.
boys, I think that's going to be a wrap for this week. Like always, I appreciate spending my time with you boys, and I appreciate getting to see you guys, and I appreciate getting to talk with you guys.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, same.
There's never a dull moment amongst this group, and that is for sure.
Yeah.
I'm counting down the weeks until I will be back. It'll be just like week 1 with the podcast, and
Yes.
the 4 amigos will be reunited, all in the same room.
Cannot wait.
What do we have
So,
next week for our segments?
What's that?
What are next week's segments for the pod?
That is a great question. Let's pull those up, and we'll give a sneak peek for next week. Next week we got Yahoo questions.
Yeah, bringing it back.
Yes. Cannot wait.
Bring it back.
So we got Yahoo questions, and then we've got our next segment is: Are you cultured or just American?
That'll be a good one.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Which you'll have to wait till next week to find out, everybody. So,
Cannot wait.
but boys, it's been a great time. Obviously, it feels a little bit different doing it on Thursday some days, but
Yeah.
I look forward to looking at it.
Yeah, we're like, oh man, we gotta wake up.
Well, you say the W word.
I know, right? But
There's nothing like Friday
look-
vibes though.
Yeah.
True.
no, honestly, it makes it go by faster. Like I know for sure I'll have an easier day tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
True that.
but
Thinking about
I look forward to
Nightmare's crap situation.
You
I know,
should-
right? Yeah, I think he just
Did
needs
you
to.
check-
I think he just needs to sign off on this week and move past it and
Yeah.
get through to another Monday.
How much would it have taken you if I were to put money on the table? How much would it have taken you to jump into that water and
What the
and then
hell?
go into the bath?
No way.
Oh man.
Okay, how about this?
Are we baking in? Any medical expenses?
Because
All
there
co-
will be
yeah,
some.
all
Yes.
covered, all covered aside.
Okay.
But do you want those medical issues? Is the
No,
question.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
cover
do you
all,
want that
it-
third
that's
hand?
covered, but
Realistically,
it's not.
to
Yes.
jump and just splash.
Oh.
No,
in.
no,
Oh
like
my
you're
God,
like
this
no, you're like
He's
you're
talking
doing-
about bathing,
You're like
dude.
you ever seen how the synchronized swimmers?
Oh man.
Oh no!
Yeah, you're gonna do that
Dude.
like do the.
Oh my
the-
God. So
Yeah.
You just be like Joe Dirt and just saying that you got the poo on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a space.
A lot.
What is he? That's a space. What does he say? That's a space peanut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See right there? Yeah, that's peanut. Dead giveaway.
You were eating off of it.
Yeah.
You had like the ketchup on the
Yeah.
turd.
Do you actually have a price for that?
I'm thinking about it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Probably just like making an even mill. Like, I don't
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
go,
just
I
an
go
even-
really low.
Yeah. Well, because you'd be real.
Yeah.
You're being realistic. Like,
Yeah.
probably realistically wouldn't do it. But like, if you gave me like, I think
I'd hope
the
not.
lowest
I'm
I
just
go,
saying.
lowest I go, probably.
Do you have to put any
250
of it in your mouth?
No.
Okay.
No, you can. I'll even give you this. You can put goggles on, earplugs,
Okay.
and something over your mouth so it doesn't go.
And
in
maybe
your
something to protect your penis from getting like some type of weird virus.
Yeah.
Or
poopy
disease.
virus.
Penis
That's called
in
a
poop
condom.
virus.
It's called a condom.
Yeah.
Poo pee pee.
Yeah.
Poopy.
You want to cross streams.
200,000. If I'm
200?
all
Damn.
blocked out.
I was going to say, if you put 100K here, it's pretty tempting.
I'll do 10 grand.
10 grand?
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
You win. I
At
guess.
least go for 50,
It's
buddy.
not taxed. I would do 10 grand.
Honestly, I would stop him
Yeah.
at that. I would be
Yeah.
his negotiator. Like, no, we got to push for 50 at least.
Because I didn't. Well, like I'm not.
We'll pool our money together to get you half of that and not
You're
do
just
it.
pooping in a. in a bathtub. And you're like, like you're peeing and mixing that in there and water. It's like,
We're
God.
just pouring buckets of water in there
It's
so it
like-
splashes and
It's
spreads
like, why
out
is there
more.
macaroni?
We
in
were
there?
so close. We were so close to signing off.
Corn, corn
Man,
is in
even
there. It
Joe
doesn't
Rogan
digest.
wouldn't have approved this Fear Factor.
And fear was
Joe
not a
Rogan
factor
thinks
for
we're
you.
fucking.
God. We almost got away.
Yeah. All right, boys.
I had to ask it because I was
Always.
thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
So
Well, boys,
Pretty
we look forward to next week's shenanigans. I look forward to seeing you guys a week. And again, like I said, we get 1 week closer to me being back in town and having all four of us live at the same time.
God, I can't
I
wait.
want to thank you to everybody who chimes in and tunes into our streams during the week and tunes into our actual stream here for the podcast. Continue to stay tuned for some videos coming up over the weekend. We're going to have streams coming up next week as well. So stay on the lookout on our Twitter feed for that and our Instagram. Go ahead and head over to the YouTube, subscribe, hit some notification buttons, find out when everyone's going to be going on. That way you don't miss a damn thing. And I'm signing off for Long Live Junto, and we'll see you guys next week.
Later,
See you,
everybody.
see you guys.
Adios, everyone.
Wee.